crumbs to smell.
Chat, I got one question for you. Are you proud of me? This may be the first time in over 6 or 7 months that I've done 4 consecutive days of streaming. And that's extremely good and exciting and just incredible for me, considering the way that my health has prevented me from streaming. Why am I all the way over here? Prevented me from streaming since I got that long ass COVID. I'm feeling fucking great today. I've had a great day. I basically like got up. I did some work. I did some tenants union stuff. Went for lunch with my dad and my stepmom. That was nice. Oh, Johnny!
Grab the cowboy hat. Howdy, 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 MUEL.
Now, that's just the capper for the day. And we're only starting the stream. A £20 dono from Johnny, just Johnny. Thanks so much for the £20, dude. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're very close to unlocking the 3rd movie night of this week. I've just reminded myself that I need to organise movie night for Saturday. But it will be happening. I'm very excited to watch Hiroku the Goblin and Porco Rosso with you. I've never seen Porco Rosso before, but Hiroku the Goblin, I'm going to be doing for my Patreon exclusive monthly movie review. Yeah. So there you go. Hello, Middle Earth Marxist. Let me say hello to everyone in the chat, because we got some excellent people in both chats, as per usual today. We got Ori, we got Just Johnny, we got Half a Laptop. We also got Ninny161, hello. We also got Mr. Dank. We also got Mr. Middle Earth Marxist. We got Generation Why Me. We got People Over Profits. Good to see you all. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, how's Chat and Mule doing? I'm doing really good, as I was saying. Yeah. So I had that stuff today. Did a bunch of stuff with the tenants union today. So that's been very good. Just normal stuff, kind of admin stuff. Spoke to some people, spoke to some members, gave them some advice. Basically sort of like got the ball rolling with their disputes. What else? Then I went to the gym. And I feel real good after the gym. Like, it's been a while since I've done some exercise. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling fresh. Happy with how my body's looking, despite, like I said, 6 or 7 months of muscle atrophy. After being, like, the most hench I've ever been in my life. Having that all, like, drop away. And then I came home and did some meditating. And, again, just going to point out, Tom is sat in the exact same spot that I was meditating on my bed. He's not been sitting on my bed for a couple of days at least now. So something to it, chat. There's something to it. Tommy Twos. Effa Leffa Neffa, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. How are you doing? Gobs, how are you? Great to see you. Everybody, please go and show some love to Gobs. They're amazing. They're a great streamer. They deserve all your love. Hello, Elwoods but trans, aka my girlfriend. How are you doing? Yes, again. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's right there now. And again, it's not even remotely the warmest. I know Gumba Master in the chat the last time we explained this was saying, oh, maybe it's just the warmest place. But no, not at all. Not at all. It is not by a long shot the warmest place in the flat. The heating isn't even on in that room yet. The heating in that room doesn't come on till about 9 o'clock. Yeah. That's that, basically. It is a little bit unusual. Yeah, he doesn't really do it. And when I was meditating, he was cuddled up right next to me. When I came out of it. When I ended the meditation. Hello, Rohamild. How you doing? Good to see you. He's investigating, at least. That's true. Siphoning out those good vibes. Very true. Yeah. Hey, Pat Potato. Good to see you. What we got? Like the videos, chots. Wait, what's that? Like the videos, chots? Chatters. Which videos? Despite a valiant effort, Palestine has only managed to manage a point versus the 10 men UAE. However, the love and support and enthusiasm in the stadium for those Palestinian players was off the charts. Oh, that sounds really good. That's really, really good. Maybe the boy runs hot and Mule's feet are like the cool side of the pillow. Maybe. But I'm choosing to believe that it's ghosts and spirits and UFOs and all that stuff. So that's the end of it, in my opinion. Anyway. So, what have we got for you on the stream tonight? Well, we're going to be looking at Britain update. So, be prepared for a lot of, unfortunately, Keir Starmer. We're going to be looking a lot at Keir Starmer. Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of his face. I don't want you to be getting too stressed about that. But it is happening, so I don't know what else to say to you, really. We got to do the update. We got to do the British update. We got to do the British update, find out what's going on over here on Normal Island. It's definitely not normal, and it's not fun. Sploot Newt, did I say hi to you? How are you doing? Good to see you. Husker Do. Mule, where do you land on chippy chips? I don't like chippy chips. That's a very interesting question. Why do you ask? That's a very unique, interesting question for an American to be asking a British person. I want to know how you came about that. Have you been watching some videos of British people? Vitriol, hi, so great to see you. You inspired me to volunteer work with Food Not Bombs. That's extremely based. That is extremely based. And I would like to extend to you a formal invitation to do a guest appearance on Red Planet if that's something you'd be interested to do. Because you're an activist now. Yeah, and you're doing activism as a result directly of, like, I don't know if it was Red Planet or if it was me myself, I don't know, but I'm part of Red Planet, so that would be great. But just think about it. If so, send me a DM on, like, Instagram or Twitter or something, or I don't know, where's the best place to get me? Discord? You can join the Discord if you like. There you go. What the fuck are chippy chips? Chippy chips are chips that are made in a chipper. And I know that doesn't make any sense. It's not clarified anything for you, has it? I'm doing all right. Been feeling a bit ill today, so that sucks, but that's clearing up now. Good to hear it, Sploot New. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Kieth is back on his kid starving bullshit, yeah. Nothing much, just doing a little sewing and playing a ton of Dark Souls in the painted world now. You know what I was thinking last night? I was watching Awesome Games Done Quick last night. Oh, you Googled it? You get it now? Buzzing, I don't even have to explain it. I'm not going to be explaining it for anyone else. Anyway, sorry. No, I will explain it in a bit. But I was watching it, Awesome Games Done Quick last night with the Ocarina of Time speedrun. Really fucking cool. Really, really like that. And I really enjoyed watching the drum controller for Super Mario 64. That was fucking wild. Someone playing the drums. And it was cool to see a streamer that I, learned of before I saw them on AGDQ. On AGDQ last night. Someone called Thorman Gander. Who, if they're live tonight, I'll send you over there because they're pretty cool. But they may still be at Awesome Games Done Quick. So I don't know if they're going to be live tonight. But next chance I get, we'll raid them. Because they're pretty cool. They do like a lot of speedruns with... not necessarily speedruns, but they do a lot of like different controller-based gaming stuff, you know? Discussing Chippy Chips in the Discord for our pro-Palestine friend. Yeah, so basically... Yeah, there are people in Kira's Discord who are not pro-Palestine. That's an interesting thing to say. The one pro-Palestinian person in the Discord. Sorry, unnamed person. Persons unknown. Discord. Yeah. Shh. Don't tell John Twitch. Anyway. Little slip there. Anyway, Chippy Chips are basically chips that are from a chip shop, like a old-fashioned British chip shop, which again is not even British because we stole that from Jewish people. So, you know, what actual cuisine comes from Britain? Not a lot. Probably some kind of foraging-based food. I ain't no snitch. Good. I'm glad there's no snitches in this Twitch chat. Or YouTube chat. Not that the YouTube chat is on Twitch. Anyway. The fries of the French. No, not the fries of the French. What are you on about? Not even remotely that. They're chips. They're not French fries. Even remotely. French fries are still, like, this is the thing that blows Americans' minds. Or not even America. Well, Middle-earth Marxist isn't America, but, like, this is the thing that blows, like, non-British people's minds. We talk about French fries. You describe it to them. Talk about Chippy Chips. And you describe it to him, yeah? And then they go, oh, French fries. And it's like, no, we have those too. We have those as well, actually. So, no, they're not French fries. I know what they are, thanks. Don't insult my intelligence. I know very well what French fries is. It's actually you that doesn't know what Chippy Chips are. So, that's the end of that, isn't it? Yeah, chips are chunky. Chippy Chips are chunky. But I don't like them. I'm not a fan of them. They're really greasy. Super greasy. If I go to the fish and chip shop, I get a fish, a steak and kidney pudding, and mushy peas and gravy. I know that sounds disgusting, but it's not. It's the best thing you'll ever eat. And salt and vinegar. No, I don't like wedges either. I don't like any kind of thick chip. I just don't. You know, they're always made really bad. The only kind of thick chip I like is sweet potato fries. Any kind of potato, like non-sweet potato, it's got to be thin, like a crisp. Or a French fry. French fries I can do. Also, High Crimson Tinted. How's it going? Anti-Chippy Chip stream. It's true. It's very true. Thank you so much for the proposal. I'm fighting with social anxiety. Not the greatest time for me to prepare anywhere, but your words mean the world to me. Hey, listen, your words mean the world to me. I'm like, if I can inspire anyone to do any kind of activism with like my fucking YouTube channel, I don't know, you know, that's crazy to me. That's fucking wicked. So yeah, thanks so much for sharing. Really cool. Really cool. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that brings joy to my soul to know that. To know that I'm having it as an influencer. I'm having an influence. It's a good influence. So that's great. Thank you very much, Vitriol. Proud of you. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. I tried mushy peas the other day and they're great. Mushy peas are pretty good. It's just peas with like creme fraiche. You can even get vegan mushy peas for the vegans out here. Wedges are something else, it's true. Chippy Chips, very chippy to chippy, in my experience. And upsettingly, so many are overly greasy. Yes, that's true. That's very true. No, I like potatoes. Listen, Johnny, roast potatoes Mash, I'm all over that shit. But chippy chips, no thanks. No way. No, I've never enjoyed them. I've never, ever enjoyed them in my life. Ever. You can play Jenga with chips, not your pathetic American French fries. I don't know if that's true, but I'll take your word for it, Elsimon. Welcome to the chat. Oh, I've just seen you there. Chips are potato blocks. Yes, that's correct. That is correct. Had some banger chippy chips when I tried the best chippy in the country or whatever, and they were just grease. Oh my god. You're not huge on the mash. Well, you've not had it done right, have you? That's the answer to that. And maybe I've not had chippy chips done right, you know? Maybe they're doing better in Ireland anyway. They probably do doing better in Ireland, all things considered. Anyway, right, listen, we're going to crack on with the stream, but here's something wild, chat. I'm going to do an experiment, and we're not going to go into the politics segment, because I don't know if it actually does, like, any different in promoting my stream and getting more viewers or anything like that. And of course, it is important to me to get more viewers, because that means the pool of people who have money they could potentially donate to the Mule Needs to Live and Survive and Pay His Bills fund expands. So, you know, here's also just a reminder to sub of Twitch. Please give me money. I need it. I really need it to live and survive. Thank you very much. There you go. No hazmats needed. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Look how Irish the Brits are after your potatoes again. No, definitely not. Don't take that to mean that. Don Jones, I have no money. Hey, Sasha, what's going on? Welcome in. Like, you always say that, yeah? When I, you know, ask people for donations, yeah? But are you aware that I'm not, like, actually asking you? Yeah? You are aware that, like, every time I say that, I'm not directly addressing you, innit? Like, there's multiple people in this chat. You know, you don't have to say every time that you don't have money. It's completely understandable. There's no need for any excuses. You could just say no. Yeah, you could just say actually no. Do you know what I mean? Or nothing at all. You know. It is a little funny to pretend you are. Probably just to you. But, you know, go off. I'm just suffering here with all the potato diss. I haven't dissed potatoes once. And listen, I know you're in, you know, northern Spain, sort of Catalan area, but, like, you know, I love patatas bravas. I don't know if they're like a Catalan thing, but, like, I love Spanish potatoes, spicy potatoes. Listen, Palestinian style potatoes are fucking miles better than chippy chips. Did you see the shit with investment fund nabbing 85% of a group of new houses? Johnny, I see that shit almost every day. Almost every day. Just to me, a little harsh. No, it means that you're unique and you have a unique sense of humor and you're your own person. And that's great and good, actually. Anyway, right, so, where are we? We gotta crack on. We're gonna crack on. But, you know, we're not going to go straight into the Keir Starmer stuff. Yeah? Palestinian potatoes, how do I make? I actually don't know. They do them like... They might not even be Palestinian. They're just spicy potatoes. I think they're generally speaking like a Palestinian or Egyptian, Lebanese kind of like mix. But they're really good. Oh, National Chippy Chip Society!
Thank you, Donald Mule, for your contribution to the ongoing Chippy Chip discourse occurring online.
Thanks so much for the £10 National Chippy Chip Society. Thanks for subbing off Twitch. Thank you for supporting the stream. I really appreciate that. Oh my god. Incredible. Oh, Sasha with the 420. You just said you had no money.
Those aren't real money.
Wait, what? What did you say? I gotta go on Streamlabs and hear that again. I was so shocked. Sasha, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Hey, Mark, how you doing? I fucking love Chippy Chips. Sorry, not sorry. You don't have to apologize. You know, it's okay to be wrong. You don't have to apologize. You're not hurt anyone. You're not hurting anyone with that, as far as I know. So, The secret to well-cooked potatoes is to reflect the light from Mule's cleanly shaven head to light a cooking fire over which to roast them. Ha ha ha. That's really funny, isn't it, Crimson Tinted? You know, try and be funny now with a 24-hour timeout. Now what? Now fucking what, dickhead? Eh? Think you're fucking funny, do you? Enjoy the sin bin. Sasha said, Great British pounds aren't real money, and I'll prove it to you.
Great British pounds aren't real money.
There you go. I found a recipe for batata hara, which is described as Arabic, but not specifically Palestinian. Sounds delicious, though. That's probably what it is, actually. That's probably what it is, you know. Yeah, really fucking nice. Really fucking nice. Anyway, thank you so much for the donos so far tonight, chat. I really appreciate that. We're very, very close to hitting the goal of £250. It's the midway goal of £250, which means we'll be having 3 movie nights this month. Imagine. Wow. Crazy. Absolutely mental. We probably won't be able to fit them all in this month because there's only 2 weekends left of this month as far as I know. Yes, there are. But what we will do is have one in the beginning of February. Real though, always when I'm spending foreign money, it feels like I'm not spending anything, especially when the numbers get super big. Well, you know, with you always talking about how much you don't have money, Sasha, that does worry me that, like, you know, you actually saying that. Like, you know, I am genuinely serious. If you have no money, please do not, yeah? Please do not feel like you have to donate it to me. There will be someone else who does it. I do really appreciate it nonetheless, but honestly, please don't put yourself out for me in it. I would rather you survive than me. There are other things that I can do. You know, I'm a cisgender white man. I'm able to, like, navigate the benefit system in this country without much discrimination. So, you know, got enough to make it financially responsible. Okay, cool, Sasha. No worries. No worries. No worries. Kale Gray, welcome to the stream. We've heard what you don't like, but what are the best chips you've ever eaten? I was on holiday with my dad in Portugal when I was about... I want to say 8 or 9. And I've never had chips like it ever again in my life. And I don't know how or why or what. What do you think about the Israel trial in The Hague? What will be the verdicts? And if the verdict will be in favor of Palestine, will it change anything on the ground? Crimson Tinted! Thanks for the £20. Alright. Listen. How do you, like, untime out? We gotta untime out him for that. There you go. There you go, Crimson Tinted. Welcome back. Thank you for subbing off Twitch. Thank you for supporting the stream. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. You know what that means, don't you, chat? It means that actually, instead of starting the stream, what we're going to be doing is an unofficial hype train. Heard it here first, folks. Mule Justice is for sale. Well, it wasn't real justice, was it? Because it was only a bit of a joke timeout. Wasn't it? You know what I mean? My apologies, mate. I actually intended a compliment because my shaves are always shit, but thank you. Yeah, listen, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'll let you off. I'll take it as a compliment. Yeah, fine. Worst things have been said to me. I'm sure we all know about that. Listen. I'm completely unprepared for this. I didn't think this would be happening. So now I have to find some music to play. Not my channel, no. Don't do that. I don't want to see that. What I want to do is I want to go to that. Alright, let's listen to some tunes. Hopefully we'll get a... Okay, yeah. Alright. No requests, I'm afraid. Alright, VOD watchers. I will see you in 3, 2, 1. VOD watchers are back in. So. Okay. That started a new song, but it's done. Okay, yeah, that was Prefab Sprout with King of Rock and Roll. You know, when I used to hear that... Whoa! Do you mind, actually... when I first heard that song back in the day, because obviously it was like from the mid to late 80s, and it kept playing into the 90s, and it was like just playing on MTV one day, I think, when my stepmom was doing chores or something, and it was just on in the background. And I always used to think it said, definitely like hot dog jumping frog. But I used to think it said, I want cookie. Because I didn't know what Albuquerque was. So I used to think it was hot dog, jumping frog, I want cookie. Which would make sense because it's a nonsense song, isn't it? Like, why does it say Albuquerque? What's that? That is how you're going to hear it now. That's how everyone's going to hear that. I learned about this song from the show Spaced. I used to love Spaced until, like, I remembered the transphobic episode, and then I was like, oh, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah, not cool. You could just skip that one. There's some much better Spaced episodes than the incredibly transphobic one. Sorry, I was answering a question. Vitriol said, what do you think about Israel trial in The Hague? What will be the verdict? And in favor, if it's in... What will be the verdict? And if the verdict is in favor of Palestine, will it change anything on the ground? Keep your eye on the VOD channel. The VOD channel is just djmuel stream archives. If you've not already subscribed to that, please consider doing so. It's in the socials there, which I'm going to like just copy and paste the VOD channel and the TikTok from to put in the YouTube chat. There you go. So you can check out the VOD channel there. I'll be dropping my actual like full stream reaction to South Africa's hearing of well, yeah, the hearing for South Africa for the trial itself, genocide charges against Israel. So you can check that out there. But briefly, what do I think about it? It's an example of you know, a sort of like very farcical charade of any kind of justice. I don't believe in legal courts anyway in terms of getting justice. I believe that justice comes from liberation and you know, abolition and stuff like that. So I don't think there's going to be any potential liberation for the Palestinian people that comes from it. It might be a tool in the belt, like the law is most of the time, especially as I find in like activism. A lot of the time people in power don't care about the law, and Israel have already said that they're not going to take serious any kind of you know, direction from the ICJ in order to like stop what they're doing in Gaza. So, you know, that's what I think of it. I hope that answers your question. What else did I miss in the chat? I think Adam jumped in. I don't know if I missed you, but hi, welcome to the stream. Cell, welcome in. It's good to see you too. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Did I miss anyone else? Val, how are you doing? Welcome in. Fab Forward. I totally thought that's what they were saying. Yeah, they are saying that. They are saying I want cookie. I also heard cookie. Yeah, they're saying cookie. Yeah. Yeah. Albuquerque, much like Great British Pounds. Not real. It's true. Hello, Beanie Gaby. It does make sense. Everyone wants cookies. I thought it was almond cookies. I didn't know that almond cookies existed. I don't think I knew what almonds were when I was 8 or 9. Old comedy not be transphobic challenge impossible. I'm annoyed because the transphobic show has episode has some of my favorite jokes in the show. Non-transphobic ones, obviously. Yeah. No, it's a good episode except for that. Yeah. Almond cookies are so good. I don't like almond flavor, I'm afraid. Well, that's not true. I don't like marzipan, which comes from almonds in it. But I do quite like almonds. Like, what's that one? There's like a It's like an Italian tart thing that has almonds on it, and it's peng. I actually really like it. It's not like that. Okay, yeah, well, I'll give it a go. Almonds hadn't been invented when you were a child. It's true. I'm 9 million years old. That's very true. Amaretti, is that it? Is that what it's called? Amaretti's a fucking... no, not biscotti. Biscotti's got pistachios in it. And it might have a bit... It might have a bit of almonds in it, but, like, I think the main thing in biscotti is, like, pistachios in it. Some biscotti have almonds too, don't they? Yes, but it's not like a cake, is it? Like a biscotti is a biscuit. A cake. It's an Italian cake. Amaretti is right. Let me have a look. Amaretti. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I'm talking about a little pie, like a little dessert pie. It's like a sponge cake. I'm gonna have to Google this now. Italian almond sponge cake. That's it. That's it right there. It's just called Italian almond cake, I think. It's a round cookie, soft when fresh. No, it's not that. I've had those before. Don't like them. This is what I'm talking about. It might not even be Italian. Do you know what it might be? This might be one of them things that, like, Jamie Oliver tried to say was Italian, but actually it was just something he made up. I think I must have blocked out the transphobia in space. I can't remember that shite. It's all surrounding David Walliams' character. They're like pretty close to being like kind of based with it, but then Simon Pegg just says some awful shit. So there you go. Italy actually does exist sometimes. It's true. That's good too, though. Yeah. I don't know if there's like a specific name for it. It's probably just like Torre di Amaretti or something like that, right? Yeah. You know what I'm on about now, right? As soon as I said like the David Walliams episode in it, you're like, oh, yeah, that was bad. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, no worries, Rohamild. Vitriol also asked me, do you have any favorite books about socialist or anarchist political theory? No, not really. I don't like books in general. I don't like books even remotely. The last theory book that I read was How to Blow Up a Pipeline, and it was very, very difficult for me to absorb. I just don't think that like political activists have like a good way of writing books, like the prose. It's just too academic for me. I can't stand it. Do you know what I mean? If I could say to you one thing about like theory, yeah, the only theory that you kind of really need to understand, in my opinion, to be a good leftist, to be able to be an anarchist, a communist, and an anti-fascist, is just material analysis, right? So anything that's happening, look at the material element of it, right? Because if you look at the material element of, like, I don't know, what's happening in Gaza, right? Israel bombing the fuck, genociding Palestinians. That's all related to imperialism, colonialism. It's egged on by capitalism. The reason that they're doing it, the reason that they're able to do it, is because of how much money they got, how much resources they got. The reason that Palestinians are oppressed is because they have a lack of material goods. They have a lack of material conditions, and so they're unable to fight back and advocate for themselves due to this systemic thing that's been going on and on. Material analysis is the best way to sort of point out, you know, just who is the oppressed in most situations, you know? It's just, you know, a much easier way to sort of, like, analyze things rather than get, like, because you could get really, like, sidetracked by, like, philosophy and stuff like that, you know? It's long been a failing of political theory writers to synthesize the experience on the street versus theory. Even the most staunch dialectical materialists come off downright verbose. Well, this is it, you know what I mean? You need to be able to, like, it's about lived experience, and I think actually like Propaganda of the Deed is a lot better with stuff like that. So like, you know, if you watch, like, for example, Rebel D words, I can't say that word on Twitch, even though I've been told that it's cool to say it when you're talking about the name of the film, the documentary. Rebel D words is the word for lesbian. Really, really good documentary. Also, Ne Passaran. Fantastic doc. Just like really clearly explaining what solidarity is and what direct action is capable of. Community and all that kind of stuff. There's pretty much no British comedy shows that isn't bizarrely full of transphobia or homophobia, even recent shit. Yeah, it's true. That's a term for lesbians. Well, you know I didn't say the word, don't you? And I won't be saying the word, and I won't be allowing the word to be said in chat because it's one of those words. So, you know, could easily be a documentary about Dutch people. Well, those kinds of that are also in other countries than the Dutch. And I would never recommend a documentary about Dutch people to anyone, unless it's a documentary about how bad they are. Because they invented capitalism and colonialism, didn't they? So there you go. On Blue Sky, people use it to describe everyone queer. I don't think that's true. I'm on Blue Sky, and I think you've made that up. I think you've absorbed some stuff that's not quite correct. That's true. That's on us. we don't talk about the Dutch. We don't talk about the Dutch here. Anyway, listen, we're going to get started with the show, folks. Listen, before we go into awful Keir Starmer territory, we're going to take a look at some cool shit. We're going to take a look at some space and, you know, and some animal stuff. Because that's quite cute and easy to absorb, isn't it? So this first thing, I'm just quite interested in it. I don't know much about it, but it's something like it's called a Galaxy Ring. Galaxy Ring Discovery Challenges are thinking on the universe. Let's take a look at this and see what it's all about, eh?
Let's turn, though, to a fascinating story because scientists have discovered a gigantic ring-shaped structure in space, which is so big it challenges our understanding of the universe. Experts at the University of Central Lancashire say it's 1.3 billion light years in diameter and appears to be roughly 15 times the size of the moon as seen from Earth. Structures that big shouldn't exist, according to one of the guiding principles of astronomy.
It's a structure. Hang on. No, they're not talking about a structure. They're talking about like an arrangement of planets, right?
I'm delighted to say let's speak to Alexia Lopez, the PhD student at the University of Central Lancashire who identified what is being called the Big Ring. You are smiling.
The Big Ring. It's fucking goatsy in space.
Broadly, I'm not surprised. I mean, what does it feel like making a discovery?
It's a spiral you can see straight on.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It is surreal. You know, we stumble across these discoveries accidentally, so it's so fun to be able to, you know, write up analysis on these kind of discoveries. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Now, my brain is clearly smaller than yours, so you better just explain in simple terms what you've...
Most honest BBC news presenter ever. I need to have that as an alert with just like BBC underneath it. Do you know what I mean? Like this whole bit of the screen, and just keep that. God, that was really good to hear. I'm just gonna replay that actually.
In simple terms, what you've clearly...
Of discoveries. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Now, my brain is clearly smaller than yours, so...
Yes it is. Yes it is.
You better just explain in
he admits it.
Terms what you've actually discovered.
So I've discovered a really massive structure in the universe. So these are the biggest things in our universe. So it's made up of galaxies and galaxy clusters, and it creates this really big ring shape.
And how did you find that? Because as it's pretty obvious, nobody else has stumbled across this. So how did you actually do it?
Yeah, so I was using a relatively unique tool to find this large scale structure. So the method uses these really bright sources of light known as quasars. And then when we measure the light from these quasars, it can tell us about things that are in between the quasar and us. So when I measured, I use all these quasars.
That's true, Valerie.
And so it tells us about all these intervening systems. So it tells us about where these galaxies are. So you can imagine it's kind of like looking at bright spotlights in a dark room. So the spotlights are highlighting to us where all these galaxies and galaxy clusters are. So without the bright spotlights, without the quasars, we would usually not be able to see these galaxies and galaxy clusters.
So that's how you did it. Just again, in simple terms, explain why it challenges what we thought we knew.
This is why it's important.
Well, in order to make the mathematics simple, to model our universe, we make some assumptions. And one of those assumptions is that on large scales, we should see that the universe and the matter distribution in the universe looks smooth everywhere. So this essentially puts this limit on how big we should find structures existing. So when we find these large scale structures, these huge large scale structures like the Big Ring or the giant arc, these are so big that
The giant what?
seeing this statistical homogeneity. We're not seeing this smoothness in the universe. So it does challenge this cosmological principle. It challenges our founding assumptions on what the standard model is built on.
Okay, I love
If
this.
those absolutely basics that we thought we knew aren't necessarily what is actually the truth, what sort of questions then get thrown up?
Well, I mean, this is the biggest question. What do we do now? I mean, really, we need to start thinking about if we should be using alternative models of cosmology. So these are proposed by lots of different people, including a Nobel Prize winner, Roger Penrose. So he has his alternative theory of cosmology, which actually you would detect circular features in the sky, in the CMB sky. So maybe it means we need to start really taking these alternative theories in cosmology seriously, and also seriously be questioning whether our standard model can hold if the basic assumptions are proving to be challenged.
But I'm just giving you.
Do you know what I think, chat?
Every single money that.
Do you know what I think?
As a good.
Oh my god. Please, YouTube, please.
Alec Wallen.
Oh my god! Can you not?
At Rutgers
Please don't play. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Let's turn though to story.
Stop it! Christ alive! I'm so sorry. Anyway. Hey Steph, how's it going? Good to see you. Look. Do you know what I think, chat? I think space has gone woke. I think the reason that there's a big ring in space is because of the woke. That's my opinion. No, but in all seriousness, like, this is just another example, innit, of humans not knowing shit. Just not knowing shit, like, admitting, like, again, we don't know what it is. We actually don't know the things that we profess to know. We're not that smart, actually, in the grand scheme of things, to sort of say that we understand absolutely everything is complete hubris. Hence why ghosts are real. Right? The moon is the queerest thing I know. It's true, the moon is pretty woke. I'm not gonna lie. Galaxies coming over here, forming big rings. You know? It's not acceptable, is it? This shit would have made Copernicus and Isaac Newton and Einstein shit and piss and cum. It's true. Humans stop making assumptions to simplify the universe challenge. Well, I think it's human supremacy, isn't it? It's human supremacist thinking. Thinking that, like, just because we're able to, like, you know, be salient and observe the world and the universe around us, that we know exactly what it is. Thanks for the clip, Johnny. Appreciate that. Space equals Al-Qaeda. I've never heard that before. Al-Qaeda. That's funny as fuck. Okay, alright, we got another cool nature thing. I'm enjoying looking at this kind of stuff, so you want to see some more of this stuff on the stream, let me know. Let me know. This one's a big whale. Look at that. Fucking hell. Whales are mad, man. Absolutely mental. Look at that shit. It's quite cute, isn't it? They do know stuff. That would probably scare the shit out of me. It would scare the shit out of me, for sure. It's like the whale was trying to get the attention of the person. Like a puppy does when you're trying to get play with it. Aww. Aww. Hey, Emmy, what's up? Big sea pupper, yeah. Nah, no way. Shut up. No way. It might want its massive fucking barnacles removed. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, but why would whales ask us to do that? They don't know that we would do that for them, right? Oh! No fucking way. This rocks, actually. Oh my god. It's got to turn its eyeball sideways. It's got to turn sideways to point its eyeball up, yeah. The boarder seemingly embraces the once-in-a-lifetime experience by filming it on her phone. Oh, God. Like, with something like that, you know, it does... I am one of these old people now. That's like... You know, it fucking annoys me. It doesn't annoy me. It's not to the point where, like, look at everyone, they're so stupid and whatever. It's not like that. It's not like a sort of, you know, I don't think I'm better than people, but, like, I get annoyed with myself wanting to film things. Do you know what I mean? I want to just, like, what happened to just, like, experiencing stuff? I don't need to, you know? Like, I was running through town when all the fucking fireworks were going off in Manchester for New Year's Eve, and I was like, everybody had the phone out, and it just got me thinking, like, is everybody gonna upload this? Like, is everybody uploading this? I don't understand. Anyway, look, whatever. Look, I'm just having a little rant. I think that, like, if this was to happen to me, the phone would be the last thing on my mind. I would be like, this is magical, actually. This is magical, actually. Filming things is a form of art. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And the general public is shit at it. It is important politically, though, with activism and stuff. 2 of them? Oh my god. Ole mole. Whales have caught humans for assistance with moving barnacles before. Not a guarantee this particular whale was doing that. Whales are also incredibly intelligent. Puppy. Hey, Nightmare Eyes. Welcome in. Yes, Puppy, innit? I feel like I might be a tinge worried on account of how she could kill me and stuff. I mean, maybe, yeah. They were having a whale off, weren't they? That is what was going on. Anyway, chat, it's time for the bad stuff. We've got a nice bit of eye bleach. Now it's time for bad stuff. Yeah. Very sorry about that, but it has to happen. Got to do it. So, content warning for transphobia and Kieth Starmer jump scares. Hey, Kitty Splain, how's it going? I would have been tempted to get in the water with it. Yeah, same. Same. I don't think anything would make me feel like, safe to get in like a big open water than like a friendly whale being there. Because whales have this like thing where they like know to like take drowning humans to thingy, right? To shore. So I'd be happy with that. I'd be like, yeah, if anything goes wrong, I got a whale buddy. It's like they understand that we're like small land mammals and we don't know what's going on in it. Anyway, it's the British section. We're going to start with the worst stuff first. That might be dolphins. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, true. Whales are also comrades. Killer whales, definitely, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want boy dolphins. Definitely not. Yeah, they're fucked up. Anyway, right, look. Here's the worst thing ever. Labour's Shadow Equalities Minister Annalise Dodds confirms the party has scrapped its commitment to transgender rights. Dodds says Labour will protect single-sex spaces for biological women. So here you go. Turf General in the Labour Party over here. Piece of shit Annalise Dodds. Why is the UK this transphobic? It's the lobby, isn't it? And also Labour particularly are, we're going to talk about this later in the stream because we're going to look at some right-wingers talking about Labour because Labour are trying to appeal to bigots, right? Because they have a terrible analysis of the electoral, the electorate in general. They have a terrible understanding of why Labour lost the last election, yeah? The Labour lost the last election essentially because of Keith Starmer. And, you know, by all measure of what's going on, it looks like Labour are going to win the next election by, like, a monumental landslide. But that's no good. It's no good for anyone. Because they have terrible policies. Like this, for example. Breaking news. This was 2-3 days ago. Starmer has officially dumped Labour's promise to recognise Palestine as a state. Previously, Labour had said it would recognise Palestine as a state unilaterally. Now, Labour will only recognise Palestine if it is acceptable to the state of Israel. That's cringe, isn't it? It's quite possibly one of the most cringe things that you could ever do. So I think this is in a response to something, and I can't remember what it was. They did this officially because there was something that was spoken about. Oh no! They were gonna do this because they had a vote about it. So basically, Keir Starmer is ignoring the democratic rights of MPs in the Labour Party to vote on something, and also like House of Commons votes. There was a House of Commons vote to recognise Palestine as a state, or I might be wrong. It might just be like an internal Labour Party vote. I really feel I cannot, in any good conscience, vote for Labour again. Yeah, well, don't. I'm not gonna. You think I'm gonna vote for Labour with a transgender girlfriend? Like, honestly, like, even if I didn't, even if my partner wasn't, even if I didn't have a partner at all, I wouldn't be voting for Labour on account of their transphobia, their bigotry, their racism. Awful, just awful. Makes me feel dirty forever. I'm voting him at this point, but under Corbyn, I'd hope. No, you shouldn't feel guilty for voting for Corbyn. Honestly. I know that you vote for an MP and an MP gets in and yeah, I voted for the Labour Party. I voted for Lucy Powell, to try and get Jeremy Corbyn in. Not that I needed to, Nice save, Mule. Wait, what do you mean? Nice save. So, don't feel bad about that. I'm gonna vote for the Greens. In fact, you should vote for Corbyn again. Yeah, you can't. He's not got a political party, has he? How can you be so bad at the opposition that you go, people really want this. I'm not gonna do that. Well, yeah. Is there really nothing UK Labour can do to lose? Because they're certainly trying, I know, yeah. When you said, I also wouldn't if I didn't have a trans girlfriend. Yeah, but, like, that's not a save because I'm not, like, pretending. My local MP is Labour and she's good, but I feel like they're tarnishing everyone in the party. Yeah, there's lots of good, like, Labour councillors. There's lots of good Labour MPs. So, you know. Don't feel bad about that. Anyway, I took the liberty of going to the Labour Party's YouTube page earlier today. So let's watch some Labour content, shall we? Let's watch some Kieth Starmer shorts. He's really getting down with the kids. He's on YouTube shorts. I don't doubt he's got a TikTok for Labour, the Labour Party TikTok. Can't wait to see some content from that. Let's see what Keith's got to say on his shorts.
The Labour government I lead will...
The Labour government I lead. Okay, why can't I do volume on here?
...will be mission-driven. The 5 missions are to secure the highest sustained growth in the G7.
Oh, fuck off, bro. How is that a policy? How is that a policy? Like, the first thing that he leads with. Yeah, you know what? You know what, Keith? The electorate, they want that. The electorate need that. Yeah, I'm constantly speaking to people in some of the worst housing that I've ever seen in my entire life. You can barely breathe inside it. You know, and you know what they say to me? They say to me, well, you know, Labour are great, but they're not really taking seriously the mission to secure the highest sustained growth in the G7. They're always saying that to me. They're not saying things like, I want to be able to breathe in my house. They're not saying things like that. They never say things like that. What they say is, I want Labour to secure the highest sustained growth in the G7. They're always saying that. And that's how Keith Starmer's going to win the election, isn't he? Because he completely understands the electorate. Why are you meeting with the general manager? The entire office has been forced to sit through. Wait, what? First plan of action. Make line go up. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I can't stand his voice either. Yeah, I can't stand him. Profits over people. It literally. It's just so much cringe. Just so much incredible cringe. So, okay. That's the first thing he's saying. 5 bold missions. It's you know, at least they're honest. At least they're honest. The Labour Party is doing its first bold mission, which is to, you know, do quote-unquote economic growth. Show me the economy, bro. Literally show it to me.
To build an NHS fit for the future.
Okay, so, you know, what are you going to do about those MPs in your party who want to privatise it? Like your best mate, Wes Streeting. Because that doesn't sound like an NHS fit for the future. That sounds like a neoliberal wet dream. You know? How did these right-wingers get into the leadership of a Labour Party? It's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of, like, alienation from the working class. It's a mixture of... you know, over the years, neoliberal policies from New Labour, Tony Blair, that kind of era, took the party to the right. It was more right-leaning than I think a lot of people give it credit for during the years that it was in power in the UK. It wasn't in power for that long in terms of, like, you know, the Conservatives and stuff like that, but it certainly, like, had... you know, its fair share of time in power. Some of them are clearly always Tories, yeah. So, that's that.
To make Britain's streets safe.
Yeah, Cop Starmer, what's he going to do? He's going to make Britain's streets safe. How are you going to do that, bro? More police. That's basically what he's going to do. He's going to give the police more money. The police are gonna become a militarized cop fucking gang. Like, is that like Yorkshire in the background? I've just noticed that. He's got like a background that makes him look like he's in Yorkshire. Like he's got like this like farms, like rolling sunlit uplands. Yeah, grenade launchers for bobbies. Yeah. Our bosses forced us to sit through an hour of this asshole waffling on about quarterly performance targets. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry about that. He's at Watership Down. He's got one of the toy carpets in the background. Someone make a meme of that, please. Yeah, it's the Pennines on a nice day, innit? Yeah. He's trying to appeal to the working class. That's what he's doing with this. Yeah, hot air balloon views, literally.
To break down barriers to opportunity at every stage.
To break down barriers to opportunity at every stage. What do you mean? What? Like, be specific, bro. What does that even mean? Opportunities for who? Rich people or working class people or what? What kind of opportunity? I want everyone to become a girl boss. Everyone's going to be, under the new Labour government, there's going to be girl boss gaslighting and gatekeeping. I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't know about you, chat. I can't wait for this awful future.
And to make
that lots of really annoying people are going to celebrate. They're going to be like, great, no more Tories. Yeah, back to brunch. Britain's version of back to brunch. You know, all these fucking idiots with like People's Vote and like British flags and like blue, what are they, like FBPE? You know?
Britain a clean energy superpower.
Free estrogen at schools, yeah, I hope so. Build a better Britain, like the fucking British flag on it and shit like that. Blackpool Tower in the background, like it's so fucking obvious. It's so obvious what they're doing. It makes me sick as a northerner. As a northerner, it makes me sick. Yeah. This is literally what they've done. I didn't think I was that clever, right? When I used to say things about Keir Starmer and the Labour Party and why they're going more to the right, and I was saying things like, I think that they've got the electorate wrong. I think that they think that everyone who voted for Brexit was a bigot, whereas actually there's like lots of anarchist left-wing reasons to vote for Brexit, actually, and, you know, wanting Brexit under a Labour government. And what they actually think is that everyone in the north and the Red Wall are all racists because they voted for the Tories, but actually what it is because they wanted Brexit, because they voted for it and they wanted democracy and they wanted like a party that represented democracy for them. And funnily enough, Keith Starmer was the shadow Brexit chancellor, wasn't he? Or shadow Brexit secretary, whatever it is. Excuse me. A lot of the people who voted for Brexit weren't paying attention that much. It's true, yeah. It's hardly democratic as well because, like, you know, not a majority of people in the country actually, like, voted for it. You know, the majority of the people who turned up to vote voted for it, but the voter turnout was still pretty crap. You know. But, you know, yeah, this is what he's doing. He's trying to appeal to the north here. He's trying to appeal to racist northerners, yeah? Which, markedly, there aren't that many as racist southerners. And I know that for a fact. Yeah? Anyway, I don't know. It's not true. Anyway, the you know, the British flag, Blackpool, you know, the hills, the farms, it looks like Yorkshire in the background. Like, come on, man. Like, but like, it's so jarring because he's there saying like, want to make Britain the best of the G7 countries. You know, like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? What the fuck? So many double meaning words in that short video. It's true. Anyway, little dickhead, whatever. Let's watch this other very embarrassing Angela Rayner. Like, what a fucking wet clam. Like, that's probably a poor choice of words for a woman particularly. for a vagina haver. My bad. What I meant was wet blanket. You know, like just an absolute fucking nothing person with no backbone whatsoever. Exactly the same as Kieth Starmer. Just flip-flopping bullshit. Yeah. Vile. Absolutely vile. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much, man. This is the worst thing I've ever seen already. The music sounds like, he always looks like he really needs to poop. No, that's his disgust at having to be around poor people. That's what that is. What he doesn't understand is my dad is not representative of the North at all. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. This feels like an I think you should leave bit. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? There's like an I think you should leave sketch where it's like got this kind of music. PS1 demo disc music. Dollar store, AC/DC. Working class northern guys who are a fair bit bigoted, but he feels fine about it because he's old and thinks it means he doesn't have any more growing to do as a person. Yeah, I know people like that. I think he's also trying to appeal to people who think they're capitalists. Oh yeah, definitely. He wants to appeal to like business owners, small business owners, petty bourgeois people, etc. It's the TC Tuggers! Oh my god, you're right, Emmy! Oh my god, you're right! Ah!
1, 2, 3, now we're playing with the big boys. Gonna take it to the street, now we're gonna make a big noise. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
It's literally the TC Tuggers! No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, dude. What are you talking about? I can't get over that. It's the same. It's the same. I can't believe it. It's exactly the same.
Playing with the big boys. Gonna take it to the street, now we're gonna make a big noise. Are you ready for this?
I'm crying. I fucking knew it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, you got to be joking. Oh my god. I fucking hate Kieth Starmer so much. Oh my god. Oh. What is a TC Tugger? TC Tuggers. I think I just got rid of the window. Just got rid of the window, but I'll bring it back up. It's just a sketch from I think you should leave. I'll show it you. Hold up.
1, 2, 3, now we're playing with the big boys. Gonna take it to the street, now we're gonna make a big noise.
No, it's not real. It's not real. Thanks for the clip, Johnny.
Are you ready for this?
The only shirt with a dope tugging knob. It's the only shirt with a dope tugging knob. Oh man, I'm not even gonna be able to like take this seriously now. Let's get Britain's future back. Let's get Britain's future back. The music! Oh, give me a break! I can't do it. I can't do it. Me with my TC Tugger and calico cut pants. They come like that! It's the style, bro! Gotta make sure you got footage of him with a disabled person in a wheelchair. That's really important. Like, you know, he's got all the stuff. Yeah? All the stuff. Here I am shaking hands with working class people, postmen, football fans. Here I am playing football badly. Here I am at an airport for some reason. Here I am with the police. I love them. I used to be one. There I am with a disabled person. They're okay, I guess. There I am in a pub. I've never been in one of those before. That was a unique experience. Here I'm in hospital. I'm talking with the guys. Google. I've spoke to Justin Trudeau for some reason. I've been on speaking to kids. They're important, sort of. In Manchester, that's important as well. Oh, Zelensky. I love Ukraine. They're good. Asda have been there. Do all my shopping there. Gotta have some with the Lammy. Some pictures with the Lammy to prove I'm not racist. Yeah. Very good. Here I am with my wife, proving that I'm a normal guy. Let's get Britain's future back. Let's get Britain's future back. Future back! That's the new one. It's the new one. Future back! Oh, I genuinely can't get over the fact that, like, it's a TC Tuggers advert. I can't believe it. Fucking hell. Okay, anyway. Meet Keir Starmer. 36 seconds. 36 seconds. I'm sure that this is going to be, like, completely comprehensive of what Keir Starmer is like as a person. I'm so glad we have this opportunity to look at 36 seconds of Keir Starmer talking about himself. I'm sure it's going to be really enlightening. I'm sure it's going to, like, tell everybody, you know, exactly what he's about and what he supports and what he loves. So let's have a look at
I
that.
love this country, but at the moment things are heading in the wrong direction. When I was growing up, we didn't have much. Dad was a toolmaker, Mum was a nurse.
Dad was a toolmaker. Mum was a nurse.
And when Mum was ill, things were tough. I remember what it's like not to be sure you can pay your
I remember what it's like to have a sick mum, which is why I'm going to gut the NHS and sell it to my rich friends.
bills. I remember when our phone was cut off.
He certainly made a tool. That's right. 3 people with the same joke. It was right on a plate and I missed it. His dad was a toolmaker because he made him.
Your bills. I remember when our phone was cut off.
Which is why I'm not going to do anything. There's nothing in our manifesto to talk about benefits or anything like that. Just get a job, you little fucking communists.
So when I hear about people worrying, I know exactly what they're going through. That's why I'll always be on the side of working.
Yeah, unlike apart from trans people, yeah, apart from asylum seekers, yeah, I'll always be on the side of working people. Apart from those working people that are transgender, not white, you know.
Ex-Labour government will deliver for you and your family.
Shut up, you fucking genocide bastard piece of shit supporter. Fuck you. Here's an interview with Keir Starmer from 11 years ago when he was a cop. Should we watch this? What is this? This is just from The Guardian, by the way.
A clear distinction between communications that are credible threats or that amount to a campaign of harassment on the one hand. Those types of cases will be robustly prosecuted. On the other hand, where a communication is, as it were, merely offensive, grossly offensive, etc., then principles of free speech and free expression require there to be a high threshold and dictate that a prosecution is unlikely to be in the public interest.
So I think what he's talking about here,
And the factors which will suggest people might not be prosecuted include things like deleting it quickly if you've sobered up in the morning. Can you explain about that?
what he's talking about here is wanting to send people to prison for posting. I can't wait for this man to be the prime minister. Yeah, it feels like found footage. That's true. You made an image of him as Beaker. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Hey Thasmadar, how's it going? Welcome in.
One thing that's very important in this area is that where free speech protects the subject matter, a prosecution must be proportionate. And when considering whether a prosecution is proportionate, the question of whether...
Utterly devoid of charisma, yeah. He's, you know what he is? He's a man who's been through the law, the legal institutions in this country, yeah? Like, you know, there are far worse ways to become institutionalized, but this man has become like a absolute void of any kind of, like, you know, he's desperately, from his time as QC, just like, I don't want to fucking, you know, I don't want to listen to like appeals to empathy or sympathy or anything like that, because that's going to bias my decision, isn't it? It's going to bias my decision if I think like a human. You know what I mean? I need to be fair and definitely prosecute working class people, even though I don't think they've done anything wrong, actually, just because the other side had more money and they presented a better defense. You know what I mean? Like that's his soul is gone. His soul is fucking gone. So dead. I agree. Prove you can still bootlick and ladder pull your way up to the top. Oh yeah. Blank slab of Play-Doh. Yeah.
Whether the individual expresses remorse, whether access to the communication is blocked.
He's literally talking about the posting gulag. Like, you know, it's just like insane, nonsensical, fascist shit. Put people in prison for posting. Yes. Very good. Yes, I'm going to support that. I'm part of the legal, creating the legal framework to put people in the posting gulag. Cool, dude. All right.
To any assessment of proportionality.
And will it be more? Or
Just a
less
sick
likely
fucking twat.
Criminally now, when they're using Twitter or Facebook, do you think?
Posting. I mean, posting like what you're doing literally now. Posting things on the internet.
Possible to say whether it's more or less likely. There simply haven't been enough cases, but this is clearly
lock me up. Oh, I'd definitely be in prison.
Are protected by then there's a double
posting bills
threshold, and consideration of the public.
Junk mail distribution.
Prosecution will be brought.
Thank you very much.
Prosecution will be brought. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, shut up, man. Keir Starmer, what football means to me? You have got to be joking me, man. What the fuck is this? DVD extras. Keir Starmer interviews 1996. No
One
way.
of the most interesting
Oh my god, look at him. Holy fucking shit, dude. My man looks like American Psycho, the British version of American Psycho.
aspects of this case, as far as I'm concerned, has been to watch
low polygon human,
observe two people with courage fighting a case, and to see that even with limited resources, even unable to bring all the evidence you want to court, you can win significant victories through a belief in what you're saying, a belief...
I don't believe this guy ever came from poverty or any kind of working class background at all. He's always had that like odd accent. And now his accent has got like worse somehow. He sounds like Alan Partridge. You know? He kind of does have a Patrick Bateman vibe with that stare. Fucking definitely. Definitely.
In free speech. And the courage to continually put your case forward. Dave and Helen are an extraordinary couple, in my opinion. When I first met them, they really didn't know very much about the law at all, and they certainly didn't know very much about libel law. but they've worked away and grappled away with mountains of evidence and really difficult legal concepts. And between them, they form now a very good team. And now if we have a discussion about a point that's cropped up or we have to draft something, they're very quick.
Nah, no way, what?
They're able to draft stuff on their...
What the fuck? This is... Okay, so what this documentary is about, it's called McLibel. Yeah, and I've just Googled it, but I've never heard of this before at all. But this is about McDonald's versus Steele and Morris, known as the McLibel case. It was an English lawsuit for libel filed by McDonald's Corporation against environmental activists Helen Steele and David Morris, often referred to as the McLibel 2, over a fact sheet critical of the company. Each of 2 hearings in English courts found some of the leaflets' contested claims to be libelous and others to be true. The original case lasted nearly 10 years, which according to the BBC made it the longest running libel case in English history. McDonald's announced it did not plan to collect the £40,000 it was awarded by the courts. Following the decision, the European Court of Human Rights ruled in Steele and Morris versus United Kingdom that the pair had been denied a fair trial in breach of Article 6 of the European Convention on Human Rights. What? That's crazy. So he was like... He was representing these two. No fucking way. Excuse me. Ken Loach made this film about the case with Franny Armstrong. That's crazy. The court awarded a judgment of £57,000 against the UK government. McDonald's itself was not involved or party to this action. Mental. So they did like this thing. What's wrong with McDonald's? Everything they don't want you to know. They covered the leaflet at the center of the libel case. So this is like a propaganda poster that they came up with. 800 square miles of forest a year are destroyed to package their products. These forests produce half the air we breathe. 48% of a quarter pounder's weight is water. No wonder you're still hungry. The pigs and chickens they electrocute and knife spend all their existence in concrete cells with no daylight. Healthy? Really that hungry? Boycott McHunger and live. Take control of your life. Pretty based. Look at all this shit. McMurder, McDeadly, McDollars, McDisease, McProfits, McCancer. Yeah, pretty based. I'm glad they got some dough out of it. Although 10 years of legal struggles sound a little intense. The two were denied legal aid, as was the policy for libel cases, despite having limited income. Thus, they had to represent themselves, though they received significant pro bono assistance, including from Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer gave pro bono assistance to the fucking McLibel too. That's crazy to me. He did have a soul. Back in the day. Oh my God, that's mental.
And argue it on their own, and I think they'll make very good lawyers when they've finished. I'm encouraging them to do that.
That's a weird thing to say.
The inside view on the trial and legal profession is that this case shows the absurdity of the libel laws, and that after this case, things are going to have to change. You cannot have the longest case in civil history and, in all likelihood, criminal history, where one side has a top legal team and the
That's
other
right, for Tumsh.
has no resources whatsoever. So whatever the result, this case will change the future of libel law.
Did it? Was he right?
One of the problems with the law as it is now, i.e. that there's no legal aid for defendants, and you have
He still looks old. He looks the same age.
Is that there's a tendency...
That's a life of privilege, you know?
...those that have a lot of money to suppress criticism from those that don't, because it's not a question of whether you're telling the truth or not that matters. It's whether you have the courage or the money to defend what you say in court.
My man understood this 25, 6 years ago, right? Or whatever. But he doesn't understand the oppression of the Palestinians in Gaza. Yeah? He fell off. He fell right fucking off. For real. Yeah, company accuses you of libel and you can't get a free lawyer. Yeah, it's really fucked up. Yeah, that's really fucked up. I think that might have changed. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, he just forgot. Okay, he went cliff diving. Yeah, maybe.
And in my experience, many people who can back up what they're saying.
This is wild to me. This is so wild to me, chat.
In libel proceedings, because they fear the costs so much. One striking part of this case has been the extent to which McDonald's have been prepared to infiltrate the group London Greenpeace to find out information, and the full picture has only emerged.
Oh, did they actually do that? That's wild. That's wild.
It's quite clear that McDonald's.
Oh, chat, we gotta watch it. Chat, we should watch this on. Should we watch this like on movie night, like next movie night? McLibel. Can you just like get that McLibel 1996? TV. Oh, it's a mini series. It's a mini series. So how many episodes was there? Amazon UK 2005 edition. You could get it on DVD. There's an archaic Guardian article from 1996 here. That's crazy. No way. McLibel slaps. Morrison Steel was supported by an international McLibel support campaign which raised money to help with costs. Oh, this is a long article about it. Lawsuits against participation. Fined. Slap. Oh, okay. So, Morrison Steel was supported by an international McLibel support campaign which raised money to help with costs. This called over 100 witnesses to give evidence against McDonald's practices and products. They also sued McDonald's in what is termed a slapback, also sometimes used by US targets of slap suits for distributing leaflets calling them liars. No. UK is notoriously whack when it comes to libel laws. Yeah, from what I've heard, yeah. Didn't a cop have a whole second family while infiltrating Greenpeace? That's true. Had to eat at McDonald's recently on a bus trip because there were no other restaurants there. Feels bad, man. Well, you know, if you pushed, there's not a lot you could do in it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't feel bad about that. I think if you're still boycotting McDonald's, that's pretty based, you know?
Within the group who were collating all sorts of information. It emerged also that those people were playing their full part in the group and were doing everything that it's alleged Dave and Helen were doing to promote the leaflet in question, including handing it out and putting it in envelopes. And at that point it became obvious that they were fully participating and that therefore they ought to play their part in paying any damages, if there are any, to McDonald's. One of the important aspects
8 years later
of the case is that many of the issues were not widely debated 10, 15 years ago, but they are now. An example is junk food. That's a major public interest issue.
He is so completely law-brained. Like I've recently been speaking to solicitors and barristers more than I ever have in my entire life. 90% because of the activism that I do. And it's like there is a certain way that barristers and solicitors speak and think about things that is like, it's just very unique. And it's law brain. It's the effect of law brain. Yeah, the lighting's not really doing him any favors here. He does look like he's dead. Yeah.
These days, the profile's been raised by people such as Dave and Helen. And
yeah, a lot of waffle to say absolutely nothing at all.
Take notice and take action, and is threatening that it may even contemplate legislation to deal with advertising of junk food to children if the industry doesn't regulate itself in the near future.
Cool and based if that happened, but I don't know if it did.
It's been very important to me from when I first met them and working with them through the difficult days of the trial.
It's extremely important that it's gone all the way to the European Court of Human Rights, and it'll be one of the most important decisions that court makes. It'll be a landmark for them and for me.
This is genuinely incredible. It's genuinely incredible, chat. Because it's like, you know, he has a clear understanding of the money, the party with a lot of money that was basically using that to absolutely shut down and silence the party with zero money, who were unable to get legal aid and shit like that. Worst fake taxi ever. Get out. Get out of here. I can't believe you just said that. Wow. That's in everyone's brain now. Anyway. The populist sentiment is there. I mean, look, like, you know, I don't know. Fuck. This is just like a snapshot of him, innit? You know what I mean? We know more about him now. Yeah? We know more about him now. You can thank my housemate. Yeah, I'm not going to be thanking your housemate for that. I'm going to be chastising them for it. Mark's housemate, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why are you like this? Get help. You know? Anyway, so... I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's like, you know, even with his legal brain, he has that like element of like, okay, I understand that this is, you know, I understand the material disparity of this. He understands the material disparity of it is what's interesting, but he can't extend that to like Gaza. He can't extend that to Gaza. He can't extend that to what Israel is doing to someone else. You know what I mean? He had the understanding, but at some point he chose to ignore it. His conscience simply doesn't bother him enough. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Can never have dreamt when they decided to bring proceedings against protesters on a Saturday afternoon in North London that they were going to end up 15 years later with a case in the European Court of Human Rights, the most important and influential court in the whole of Europe.
God, you could just tell, can't you? He was one of the most insufferable North London fucking yuppies in 1997. He probably fucking loved New Labour. He probably fucking loved New Labour. This guy was like fucking drinking champagne and partying when Tony Blair got elected. He was going, yes, neoliberalism. Those communists and anarchists are a bit too crusty for me, but neoliberalism, yeah. Neoliberal leftism, yeah!
With a major challenge to the entire libel laws and 15 years of adverse publicity for McDonald's. It's important to appreciate that if the European Court finds that David Helen's trial was unfair, the government can't ignore that.
Hey, Risky Verse, good to see you.
To do something about it. And it must therefore think about changing the law itself. To put right whatever the European Court has said caused the problem. If David and Helen win in Strasbourg and the government is forced to respond by changing the law, that will be a major victory, not only for David and Helen, but for everybody that's argued for many years that the libel laws inhibit free speech. It'll be tremendous vindication of 15 years.
Steph! That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Nice. Nice work. Well done. I love it. It's perfect. No notes. No notes at all.
When you have a legal system that doesn't operate fairly, because there's a huge imbalance between the parties.
See, this is what collaboration is, chat. This is the meaning of solidarity. Johnny had an idea, Steph put it into practice, I showed it to everyone. It all comes together. Do you know what I mean? the trifecta of you know, shared labour.
Justice could never be achieved, however hard the individual judge tries in any particular case. And that's why
everybody wins.
The proceedings in Strasbourg are a challenge really.
Everybody gets participation trophies.
Rather than a challenge to the decision of the individual.
I take all the credit because it's your stream. No, never. I value my chatters very highly.
Affected me.
Oh, I can't be bothered listening to him talk about this anymore. This is bullshit. But I just thought it was interesting to see, like, this in particular. I'm going to save that for later and post that to some friends, because I don't know if, like, anyone's, like, actually seen that. That's mad. Absolutely mad. Anyway, listen, what we're going to talk about now, what we're going to look at now is all the right-wing reactionary news reporters of Great British News. This is a recent news piece by them. Illegal Immigrants Amnesty. You know, this is something that Keir Starmer will not understand, yeah? Is that it doesn't matter how right-wing you go, it will never be enough for those people that you're trying to appeal to, for whatever misguided reason, yeah? And let's see what Great Britain News has got to say about...
We're going to go to Neil Parish now, former Conservative MP Neil Parish. Neil, what do you make of what we've just seen tonight? So if you are just joining us, the Rwanda bill has passed, OK? Yeah, what's your thoughts on that, because of all the turmoil that we see?
Yeah, don't worry, Patrick. I've been tapped into GB News since sort of 9:20, so I've been listening to it all. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, don't fucking doubt it, you horrible fucking Scrooge McDuck motherfucker.
I think it's crazy what the party's done, because they've had a big fight with each other. They've marched up the hill. They've all had to march back down again and accept
the reason that Britain is so bad is because it's got guys like this in it. These are just some of the worst men in the world. They're just the worst. If you ever meet like a person like that in real life, like the guy that's talking now, like going, everything, like they're the fucking most like difficult to talk to people in your entire life. They've got no interest in anything outside of business and statistics and the Tories, like you know. Fucking get rid of him.
And a bill. So I think that, the unity is what matters when it comes to the general election. You made the point that if Labour gets in, they'll probably give an amnesty. They will not tackle the situation. And so the Tory party must come together if they've got any chance of winning.
Bro, this is like, they don't, like, care what he says. Keir Starmer is on record as saying that his asylum plan is that they will get processed overseas, right? Which we spoke about on Red Planet, I think, last week. Which basically what that means is that if they get processed abroad, countries abroad have to agree to that, and they may not necessarily agree to that, may not necessarily agree to having like British processing plants for asylum seekers in in their country. And it just means that, like, this incredibly, like, dehumanizing thing. What basically Keir Starmer is saying is that these asylum seekers who have no fixed address, they will have to engage in a bureaucratic system with no details, probably not any papers, shit like that. It's going to be impossible. So it's effectively, like, just as bad. It's a little bit better than the Rwanda bill, but it's just as bad in terms of, like, how it treats asylum seekers. But it doesn't fucking matter. Like, this is the fucking thing. It doesn't matter because the Tories will still just be like, oh, he's going to give asylum seekers cozy jobs in the government. He's going to let all those weird people from Syria and terrorists from Palestine are going to come over and they're going to all be in the government, aren't they? They're going to be running things. That's how it's going to work when Keir Starmer gets in. He's going to give them blow jobs and rim jobs, isn't he? On the House of Commons floor. We all know that's going to happen. Like, they don't give a fuck You know?
The next election or holding as many seats as possible, because what you don't want is a complete landslide to Labour that allows them to do what they like, ignore the situation over immigration, which people find really so.
I just worry whether or not that falls down, Neil, because I think it might look a little bit like Brexit all over again, where you get a load of really entitled, out-of-touch poshos completely ignoring what the vast majority of the British public want.
What? That's you! That's you too! That's you too! Bro, the way he said posho! The way he said posho! He was like, poshos. Some entitled liberal poshos. Bro, you are a posho! What are you on about?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a real point there, Patrick, but of course, what?
Oh, yes, you've got a real point there, Patrick. We don't want any poshos, do we? We don't want any poshos running the country. What the fuck are you on about? What are you on about?
Has this huge debate achieved? All it's done is let the Labour Party...
This is complete... This is like a guy in a suit, in a well-paid job, yeah, with next to another guy who might as well be wearing a monocle and a top hat with like gold spilling out of his fucking shirt and all that shit, literally saying like, you don't want people like us in charge. That's what's happening. That is what's happening.
And you had the Labour Party guy there tonight, really cock a hoot of how terrible it is, dreadful Tories, everything's a total mess. They've got no solutions, and the situation will get worse. So unless, like I said, the party must come together.
Damn, stop clocks are right twice a day. He's right. There are no solutions with Labour, but there are no solutions with the Tories either. So, default correct take there. Mild take,
they either die,
but from the wrong sort of thinking,
or they die as individuals. This is just. I mean, don't forget, I'm old enough to remember 92 to 97. I was a local councillor at the time. They said, Neil, we like you very much, but we're just not voting Tory.
All right.
And this is what's happened again, and we're just feeding it. We don't need to do this. I mean, me sitting up...
This guy's mad that he lost to Labour in 97. What's going on? I don't understand.
Watching Westminster, watching the car crash. They go in, they say one thing. At the end of the day, they're always ever going to turn around and vote for the bill when it got there. And that's what makes them all look so stupid. And it makes the party look stupid. And who is it that's gaining from this? The Labour Party, which I believe will not be fit to run this country and will be much worse on the issue over illegal immigration.
Okay.
True, but for the wrong reasons.
Take you through, as I'm sure you're aware, but I want to remind our viewers and our listeners here.
Refuse to believe anyone's ever liked this guy, yeah.
So the notwithstanding clause, which basically meant that...
Yeah, he's going to say back to basics.
Any decision...
We need to get back to basics.
...was made by the ECHR in the dead of night, we could just override, right? So clearly, Sir Bill Cash and... whatever the heck these 5 families are called now. I mean, they're massively dysfunctional families. I mean, all their parents have had a divorce and they've gone off and they haven't met each other for the last however many years, but these are the 5 families now. They obviously think that needed to be in there because they did not trust Rishi Sunak to overrule the ECHR. You can say the same thing about the other amendment about preventing the Rule 39 injunctions as well, which also...
They didn't think that Rishi Sunak would overrule the European Court of Human Rights. I don't even know if he can do that. These people are talking in nonsense reality. I don't even live in reality.
Failed. Do you think that Rishi Sunak will have the bottle to override any ECHR ruling? And another reason why I asked that is because he spoke to our political editor a couple of days ago and he asked him directly, Christopher Hope asked him directly about that, and he basically said, well, there will be certain circumstances. That's not a resounding yes, is it?
No, it's probably...
This guy actually sounds like David Walliams, doesn't he? I was thinking for a second then, I was like, I know that accent and that voice, and it's David Walliams.
Probably not as good an answer as you would have wanted, but I also think, I've got a lot of time for Robert Butland, because don't forget he is a lawyer, he's a barrister, he understands the law, and I don't understand the law, and I think you'll find if they make...
Nah, you don't say, bro. I think you're being too harsh on yourself there, bro. I think you know what the law is. I think you do.
This too tight, I think it would be counterproductive. So therefore, I do actually trust Rishi Sunak on this issue to actually ignore the courts, because...
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a big, big believer that guys like this just didn't get bullied enough at school. A big believer. Like, oh my God. Abso-fucking-lutely. They were probably lucky enough to go to a school where bullying wasn't real. So, or maybe they were the bullies.
That's what you'll need to do. But I think by putting it into legislation, I think I would agree that it would make the situation worse, not better. And so I think there has to be some sort of faith. But of course, because
Discount Sylvester McCoy
itself so much over this, it's very difficult for anybody to believe anybody at the moment.
So to be clear, to be clear, then, right? The British public have to just accept that this government has decided now, well, look, we're not going to put it in law, right? We're not going to put it in law. I promise you, we're not going to put it in law. So we can't have that there. But this group of people from a particular caucus, the vast majority of whom actually voted for Remain and then did everything they could to deliver the softest Brexit deal imaginable, if they're Brexit deal at all. We just have to trust these people now to, as and when the time comes, override the ECHR. So the British public has to suck that up, do they?
Well, I think they will find that very difficult to accept, but I believe that is the case, because I think, the trouble is, Patrick, whatever the common sense of the situation is, the law will be the law, and at the end of the day, I think that is the right solution, and I think people...
Jeez, even this guy's not right-wing enough for the fucking GB News hosts. This is what, like, old school conservatives in this country... yeah, are pretty fucking bad, right? For a lot of reasons, yeah? But what they don't understand, like, they watch GB News and they love it because they like, yes, conservatism is popular again, fantastic. But then they go on these fucking programs and they're speaking to, like, actual fascists who want, like, fascist shit to happen. They're like, do you think we should do a fascist revolution if we don't get what we want? And he's like, well, they're probably going to have to deal with it, and blah, 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 blah. But he doesn't understand where he is. He doesn't understand what he's doing. There's just no actual understanding of ideology that's going on here. They just think that, like, these people like them. I love watching Brits argue that their country is great because it ignores a court of human rights. Yeah, it's really cool. It makes me feel really good and happy about the future. I love it. I feel safe here. I think my friends are going to be safe here. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, in case you didn't know.
People will have to make up their mind when they get to the general election. Do they want Rishi Sunak? Do they want the Tories, or do they want to risk Labour? And it'll be a much more interesting conversation than we're having tonight, but it will be very difficult for the Tories.
I don't think Tories give a fuck. Actually, I don't think any of these Tories actually give a shit about whether they get in power again because they've made enough money now. All their rich friends have gotten richer. They've got richer. They've changed the law to help themselves, and I don't think they care if they get re-elected. I genuinely think that that's what it is. I think that we've had like a clown show of a government for the last fucking 12 years. It's got more and more insane as it's gone on, and now it's got to the point where they've absolutely fucking rinsed the country of money, and they're not gonna, they don't give a shit. They're not even gonna try. They're not even gonna try. No such thing as enough money for those rats. No, I think there is. I think if they get into like a position where they're like, right, I don't have to be in politics anymore. I've got my money out of it. I'm just going to become a journalist. That's what happens with the Tories. That's what fucking happens with them. That's why Boris Johnson is like, doing fucking TikToks and shit. Like, I don't know if he's doing that, but like, basically Tories either start off as journalists or they become journalists later on in life. You know, it's like Matt Hancock. Yeah, Keir Starmer's already agreed to all their terms anyway. Exactly. Like, this is the thing. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Listen, chat, I'm going to go and use the toilet real quick. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Unless that is to take your meds, go to the toilet yourselves, have a little stretch, stay hydrated, all that kind of good stuff. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. Hey, Vod, how you doing? All gonna land cushy jobs in Starmer's Labour Party. That's true. Getting a job as a consultant for one of the multinationals they helped out. Yep. Oi, mate, you got a license for that piss? Yeah, I'll stick the Ushanka on. Why not? Oh. Hey, one who reads. Good to see you. Can we hat stack? No. Making sure you're cozy. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Right, what we're going to look at next is... so, there's, like, more fascist infighting going on the GB News here, where they're talking about Reform UK. Is Reform UK opening Downing Street to Starmer? You may be letting Labour into power. Fiery clash erupts over Reform UK's effect on UK politics. So, really interesting. Like, they don't like the Tories, but they do like... They don't like Reform UK either. It's so interesting. Like, GB News is really doing, like, a lot to push this country to the fucking right. I'm absolutely certain of it.
Holy horses. Because it's time for Richard Tice. Now, nearly 9 in 10 constituencies want immigration levels reduced. This is according to a recent survey. But despite this, the public have seriously underestimated how many migrants come through our borders, guessing that it is 10 times lower than the 672,000 that actually came into the UK.
Okay, which poll? Immigration higher than we think. You've got to be joking, man. You've got to. This is a joke. This is a joke.
Now, seriously, apparently more than 50% of the public thought that net migration to the UK was 10 times lower.
Cite your source! Cite your source! Which fucking statistics are you talking about here? Like, who did this poll? Which fucking NGO did this poll? Which fucking, like, it doesn't have to be an NGO, but like which like statistics fucking data collection company did this?
Than it is. And 9 in 10 constituencies still wanted it reduced. I've got to be honest with you, I love the British public, but I do not think there's any excuse any longer for not...
Bro, you don't love the British public. My man's like, I love the British public, but there's no excuse. You're all wrong, you're all terrible. He just made it up. He made it up.
Not knowing the amount of people coming into this country and what a disgrace that is. Reporter Anna Riley has been gathering opinion from locals in Rochdale.
So my figures about 45,000.
It's hundreds of thousands. God, it is.
Thousands and thousands.
About 4 million. What would you do?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Very cool. I'm very glad that they went to Rochdale and spoke to, like, the fucking Rochdale racists that wanted to speak to GB News. Oh, my God.
I said the figure is actually 672,000.
I'd be shocked. I'd be quite shocked.
Right. It's a right load, isn't it, really?
Not really. Not really. Not really. It's not a right load. It's like, you know, average, normal, slightly higher than previous years. You know? If a poll is shit, they'll never 100% mention... they'll 100% never mention its or source name within the story. No, definitely not. Quick tally around the GB News office. I wonder what the fine people in Stoke-on-Trent think. Do you know what? So do I.
It's absolutely insane. I'm joined now by Reform leader Richard Tice.
You thought I was going to play it, didn't you? You thought I was going to play it. Well, I've got bad news. I don't take requests. You know, it's a very funny song. It's a very funny thing. But, you know, I just think it's a bit inappropriate.
Richard, look, thank you very much. What do you make of the public thinking that we have about 10 times lower the level of net migration than we actually do?
Good evening, Patrick. Well, it's a sign that essentially the mainstream media have deliberately underreported the huge scale of what is actually mass immigration in recent years under a conservative regime that we've now had for 14 years, where Prime Minister after Prime Minister after Home Secretary after Home Secretary lied to us and said they were going to bring immigration numbers down, and actually they've willfully, deliberately opened the borders to mass immigration. You've said it there, though, Patrick. 90% of all constituencies want lower immigration. And if you want lower immigration...
No, they don't! What are you talking about? 90% of all constituencies? What, in Devon? What are you fucking talking about? It's the same rhetoric from the 90s. It's literally exactly the same. It's literally exactly the same. You know, it's that fucking Stuart Lee bit again. It's literally just that Stuart Lee bit again. You know?
Immigration, the only party that will freeze all non-essential immigration, Patrick, is Reform UK. And that's why the bombshell poll out this morning, 14,000 adults, that's why we're going up in the polls and we're going to have a massive...
Wait. 14,000 adults. Is that what they said? 14,000 adults? So basically, they interviewed a village, probably, in like the Midlands. They interviewed like a village near Leicester or something. You know, somewhere in the absolute like smack bang center of England. Never seen someone like a little bit more, you know, dark skinned than they are. Literally never in their life. And, you know, they interviewed every single one of those people and they were like, oh yes, immigration's terrible actually. We want much less immigration. You know? Hey, Stealth Intel, good to see you. Cherry picking, pole harvesting, you know? Literally that.
14,000 adults. That's why we're going up in the polls, and we're going to have a massive, massive difference at this general election.
Well, I've got it.
No, you're not. 14,000 people is not representative of public opinion. If it were, why can't we have informed consent gender clinics? Yeah, literally, exactly. If you care about the opinions of 14,000 people, I can guarantee more than 14,000 people want informed consent gender clinics.
I've got to say that, to be fair, Richard, you are going to have a massive difference as things stand. That difference, though, might actually be letting Labour into Downing Street. You know, this poll said that the Reform Party...
But hang on, Patrick. No, I'm going to stop you there because it's so boring. This ridiculous narrative.
Well, it's not ridiculous. Look, we get on well, but it's not ridiculous. You're going to take a load of seats off the Tories, potentially, or you're going to...
Let him fight. You're
going to lose the Tories a load of seats.
No, Patrick, you have to punish absolute failure. You have to punish people that deliberately lie to the British people, change the way our culture is, because they've allowed mass immigration, uncontrolled.
The guy in this guy's ear is going, wind him up. Tell him he's a cook. Tell him he's a liberal cook.
In direct lies to what they promised us.
But what if that means a Labour government, Richard?
They're as bad as each other. They're both pro-mass immigration. They've both got the highest taxes.
Yeah, man. Labour and the Tories definitely pro-mass immigrations, you know? Definitely pro-mass immigration, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, man. This guy's definitely got his finger, like, on the pulse of what's going on. He's definitely living in reality. He's definitely, like, listening to what's saying, like, what people are saying. Bro, if I was this guy, I would vote for Labour. Do you know what I mean? Like, this guy, like, hates anyone that's not cisgender, heterosexual, white, and a man. Like, you could vote for Labour, bro. They cover all your bases.
They're both pro more regulation, more government spending. This lot are so...
No, they're not! What are you fucking talking about? And you see, this is the thing. Like, you know, like, here's the good line. Here's the line, chat.
More regulation, more government spending. This lot are socialists. Starmer, who I call Starmageddon, is also...
You know what? I like him. What's this guy's name? Patrick, what's his name?
This lot are socialists. Starmer, who I call Starmageddon.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking great. Like, two absolutely quality jokes in one. You know, Labour are socialists. Starmer is Starmageddon. Like, so good. This is great.
A socialist. Socialism is a disaster. It's a catastrophic cocktail. But Patrick, there's no difference between the two. This lot have broken Britain, and it's now only Reform UK that can save Britain. And that's the positive message we're getting out there to the British people. And that...
Oh, man, you know, like, if there's one thing that you can say is, like, mildly predictable about UK politics, it's that the fascist parties will, like, disband after the election. You know, that'll just be the end of it. You know, it'll change into something new, and you know, they'll just keep on with the same shit, kind of thing. You know, this is the thing. It's like I don't know, man. Like, I know that New Labour had, like, some good things that they did that were, like, mildly okay. But again, it's like the Democrats, right? It's like the Democrats in the US. Democrats versus Republicans. Oh, you better vote for Labour, otherwise you get the Tories. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's the difference at this point, bro? Like, you know, one side is less obvious about wanting to kill me and my friends than the other. I don't know.
Patrick, is why we're going up in the polls. and why the Tories, quite rightly, are absolutely terrified.
Yeah, so, I mean, Labour...
Hostage politics, yeah.
A 120
Hostage
seat majority
politics.
if Reform succeed in dragging voters away from the Tories. I know that you clearly think that, you know, they're as bad as each other and that the Tories deserve a kicking over their failures. And many people will agree with you for that. But is it not a concern that Britain, as a result, could end up getting worse? Not just on immigration, but on the kind of social issues that Keir Starmer stands for, that the Labour Party stands for. Look at where the party is on Palestine, for example, you know, that you could let that in.
Patrick, the premise of your question is that the Conservatives...
We don't have a two-party system. We still have a socialist party that kicks out the youth segment for being too communist. Yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens, you know?
...and are competent. They are useless, they're incompetent, they've broken Britain, they have to be punished. Let me tell you, Patrick, we did the right thing.
Damn right, Emmy.
Right, we stood aside to give Boris Johnson an 80-seat majority, to do Brexit properly, and to drive this country forward. They've utterly failed. They lied to us. Frankly, if they had any moral decency or integrity...
Oh, no. Did you get betrayed by the Tories? Oh, no. Oh, cry me a river, dude.
They would do the right thing for Britain. They would stand aside. And I'm telling you, 7 days a week, I beat Keir Starmer in a head-to-head, without fail. It's time they
No,
stood
you
aside,
wouldn't, dude.
did
What
the
are you
right thing for the
talking
country.
about?
The country is sick of the toxic Tories.
OK, Richard, thank you very, very much. That is Richard Tice there, who is...
Richard. Sorry, Richard? Who's this guy? I'm trying to find him on the Reclaim... the Reform Party website. Richard... I don't even know who he is. This guy's not even on the website of the political party that he's like spouting support for. Richard Tice. Thanks, Tumsh. Richard Tice. Yeah, this guy. Who is let's have a little look. Let's have a little look and see who he is. Richard James Sunley Tice. That's a lot of names, isn't it? Born 13th September 1964, is an English businessman and politician who's been leader of Reform UK, formerly the Brexit Party, since 2021. Multi-millionaire. Tice was the CEO of the real estate group, CLS Holdings, from 2010 to 2014, after which he became CEO of the property asset management group, Quidnet Capital LLP. None of these people are fucking serious, man. None of these people are serious whatsoever. My man doesn't give a fuck about immigration. Yeah? All my man cares about is making more money, raising his social profile, engaging in populism, engaging in, egotism. He's the CEO of a corporate landlord. Hey, Zach. What's going on? Good to see you. Can I get a shout out for Zach? Oh, I got no mods. There you go, Zach. Everybody go follow Zach. Never thought the leopards would eat my face, right? Anyway, get rid of that. Did he go to Eton? That's not how you spell it, but I don't know. Let's find out. Richard James Sunley Wait, hang on. I literally just typed posh classical music. Okay, here we go. Right, here we go. Appropriate music. Richard James Sunley Tice was born on 13th of September 1964 in Farnham in Surrey, the third child of the horse trainer and philanthropist Joan Mary Tice, who died on the 26th of April 2019. He is the maternal grandson of the property developer Bernard Sunley. Tice was educated at the private Uppingham School. He subsequently received a bachelor's degree in construction economics and quantity surveying from the University of Salford. He went to my university. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? After graduation in 1987, Tice's first occupation was at the housing developer London and Metropolitan. This included time at its Paris office where he learned French. He then started working for the horse building and commercial property company founded by his grandfather called the Sunday Group in 1991. Tice was its joint chief executive officer, CEO for 14 years before leaving the company in 2006. Tice then ran his own debt advisory consultancy before joining the property investment group CLS Holdings in 2010. He led major planning property applications in Vauxhall, London, and was its CEO until 2014. He left this company to become the CEO of the property investment firm Quidnet Capital Partners LLP, having been removed from CLS board as a result of potential conflict of interest. Every single fucking fascist leader of any party, yeah, is just like a rich boy. It's literally just like a rich kid, like fucking fell into a CEO position for his dad's company. Could you fucking imagine? Tice had been a television presenter for Talk TV before moving to GB News in September 23. So he's on GB News, and they just like interview him and shit. Oh, look, he's divorced. Incredible. Of course, he's from a horse family in Surrey. I know. Horse family. Grandfathered in by grandpa. Yeah. Oh, was it his granddad, not his dad? Whatever. Hey, Pen and Tail. Good to see you. Thank you, Hat Money. Yes, Black Cat. Whoa. What's that?
Excellently read, my dear sir.
Dasbadar, thank you so much for the £5. Appreciate that. Chat was so close to hitting the £250. I just need £2 and 64 pence. No, 74 pence. It's been wild, hasn't it? Yeah. Absolutely fucked. Doesn't that mean you were also rich then? What? Because I went to Salford? Are you joking? I'm in 60 grand worth of debt. What are you talking about? Adam. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for subbing off Twitch. We did it, chat. I knew we could do it. All I had to do was be a bit entertaining and people gave me money. There you go. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it at all? Oh shit, Sasha with the £2.83. No, text-to-speech message. Thank you very much. Listen, you know what that means, don't you? It's time for some music. Yes, that's right. 3 donos in a go. 3 donos in a row. Sorry. 3 donos in a row. Let's get some tunes on. Let's keep the donos going, chat. What if we did a £5 dono train? What then? What if we pretended that this was awesome games done quick? And because yes, that's right. This one's safe to play on YouTube.
Where have you been?
Well, I've been all over this week, but you know, my favourite place I've been to...
Stoke-on-Trent. Oh yeah, to Stoke-on-Trent. Historic town on the River Trent. It's a vibrant...
Come on, chat, you know it.
...of the great and the good. Like Reginald Spitfire Mitchell and Josiah Wedgwood. Come and lose yourself in the Pottery Shopping Centre. Why not try a Staffordshire oat cake? It's a culinary adventure. Come to Stoke-on-Trent and see just what is meant by that welcome phrase of "Help, look, you're in Stoke-on-Trent."
Fucking brilliant.
My work here is done.
Fucking brilliant.
Spent toodaloo, magic tiddly peep.
Brilliant. Absolute quality. Quality television. It doesn't really get better than that, does it? Thank fuck it's been in my head since it was mentioned earlier. You know I was gonna play it. I'm never not gonna play it. If someone mentions the Stoke-on-Trent song, I'm definitely gonna play it. Come on. Anyway, yeah, cool. Someone new came in earlier, and I want to just like, yeah, person type thing. How you doing? Partner is very horrid. Isabel Oakeshott, a British right-wing political journalist. Oh god, yeah. Just all of those people were vile and horrific and bad and wrong. Paid a $5 for a thing that was guaranteed. Ripped off. Yeah, damn right. That's what we do. Your neighbour's from there. Very nice. Very cute. Thank you very much for all the donos, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the dough. It means the world. It's making me feel a bit more secure this month, in quite a particularly precarious month, so I do appreciate that a lot. Quality content, it certainly is. Listen, I don't have that much planned after that stuff, so we're kind of like, you know, we're kind of like free and easy right now. I think there's some Discord suggestions that I wanted to watch. Yes. Why we need eco-socialism. Why eco-socialism is the future. I don't know if this is possible to watch for free because it's on Nebula, and I don't have Nebula. I can't watch that, I'm afraid, Steph. Sorry about that. But Catgirl Steph suggested this. Would you want to review the striking in Northern Ireland? Johnny, hit me up with a link, dude. If you got a link, hit me up with a link. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. I'll give you another permit in a bit. Okay, let's do this. What can I call this? Eco-socialism is based. That's what we're going to call it. That's the title of this next bit. Content warning, I guess. We're going to be discussing climate change. So if that's not something you want to hear, you want to talk about, I mean, this might be quite a hopium-based video. It's about 28 minutes long, so probably have quite a lot to say about it, and be a good bit of content. So yeah, we're going to be talking about climate change, but possibly in a good way. So here we are. All right, let's check out this video.
8 Hawaiian honey creepers.
Whoa, that's loud. Sorry about that.
Species wiped from the face of the earth. Record heat waves drive thousands of deaths. Hurricane Otis killing hundreds. And soil degradation is at an all-time high. A crisis at the scale this world has never seen is no longer at our doorstep. It's now crashing through the threshold and threatening to pull us down into climate chaos. And our current political and economic solutions just aren't measuring up to the scale of this crisis. We need to chart a new path forward. One that heals the vast gulf that is opened up between humanity and nature. We need eco-socialism. But what exactly does that mean? Why is eco-socialism
a little bit too loud still?
Answer? Today we dive into the inner workings of eco-socialism in order to uncover why socialism is necessary to avoid planetary disaster.
Sorry, I didn't give you a link. That's my bad. This is called Our Changing Climate. Maybe I should subscribe to this. It seems pretty based. Here's a link in the chat, and there's a link in the YouTube chat. There you go. All right, let's crack on.
What linear programming has to do with rewilding, why Cuba could unlock answers to cutting emissions, and why this diagram is crucial to healing our connection with the
Damn right, Cuba mentioned. I'm sold.
Use the link in the description below or stick around until the end to find out how to support Our Changing Climate directly by signing up for Nebula. There, you can watch this video ad-free and also watch over 25 OCC videos that I haven't released on YouTube, including my most recent bonus video on the ecological impact.
I, for one, look forward to smelling like a campfire in my apartment when the windows are closed all day. Yes, that's going to be fun, isn't it?
Soil is the foundation.
So, by the way, I just want to go back to this because this is really important. If you do have Nebula, go and check this video out because I played this game. And you can play it too because it's free. And I'm going to drop a link to it in the chat. It's called Half-Earth Socialism. And it's a future, basically, where socialism, half the earth has had like a socialist revolution, and you know, the Federation of Socialist States all get together to do like a climate summit at the you know, start of each 4 years, to sort of like set out the roadmap and what we can do to combat climate change, basically. And you can save the earth in that game. And like you know, I was playing it at, like, I think a particularly bad time in my life. I think it was like when I was like still suffering from long COVID at the end of last year. But I did cry playing that game because it was very like hopeful, full of hopium. So I can't recommend it enough. But check out that video. I would love to check out this video because it's an interview with the people who made that game, which is why I assume that Steph put this video and the Nebula one in the content suggestion for stream channel.
Ecological impact of Soviet planning, as well as an hour and 20-minute interview with the authors of Half-Earth Socialism.
Very cool.
Soil is the foundation of life, a vibrant ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks, Steph.
Organisms upon which humanity has built their success. Agronomists know this, farmers know this, and yet this knowledge seems to be forgotten here, in the barren fields of Minnesota's corn farms. Monocultures of corn and soybean rip the soil clean of organic matter and nutrients, demanding increasing amounts of fertilizer and pesticides to maintain yields. But farms like this aren't outliers. They're commonplace worldwide.
Yeah.
Declining soil health is one of the many alarm bells signaling that our planet is on the brink of ecological collapse. And behind it all lies capitalism. Under capitalism, human labor transforms nature.
All right, Sasha, thank you for all the support tonight. Take care and have a good night.
This relentless quest of transforming nature into
whipping shitties in the soda
of production and reproduction.
Minnesota.
Nature, or in other words, nature's metabolism. As Marx writes in the first volume of Capital, all progress in capitalist agriculture is a progress in the art not only of robbing the worker, but of robbing the soil.
No way! I did not know that he said that. Okay, pretty based.
Degradation of
this Karl Marx guy seems to get more and more cool every day. Every time I hear about him.
Driven by the rampant hunger of capitalism. Throughout history, there has always been a metabolic interaction between humans and their natural environments. Whether through gathering or cultivation, we have worked the land to sustain ourselves. Up until the capitalist mode of production, however, that which we extracted has been replenished, whether through manure, food scraps, or clothing made from natural materials. Consequently, ecosystems, while certainly disturbed, were never shattered. However, capitalist production smashed this metabolic cycle. Privatized common land, forcing peasants from farms into the city. Survival was no longer based on how well you tended to the land and grew food, but instead how big your wages were. Food was thus grown in the countryside and sold and shipped via markets to sustain growing urban populations now working under a capitalist wage labor system. In this process, capitalist production prevents the return of the soil of its constituent elements consumed by man in the form of food and clothing. Hence, it hinders the operation of the eternal natural condition for the lasting fertility of the soil. In essence, the fundamental workings of capitalism directly contradict the regenerative processes of nature. This is what
the ecological rift, never heard of it.
Foster calls the metabolic rift. Capitalist production continuously extracts minerals, nutrients, and organic matter from the earth, transforming them into commodities for profit, and never completes the cycle by returning those extracted materials to the soil. This perpetual extraction without replenishment represents one of the fundamental contradictions of capitalism. And it's part of the reason why we're experiencing climate chaos right now. So we need a new economic system, one that prioritizes the well-being of humanity and nature over the accumulation of profits and capital. And that system is eco-socialism.
Hell yeah.
In 2020, the world needed to cut emissions by 7.6% every year in order to stay below 1.5 degrees.
Now, it's interesting, isn't it, watching like this style of a video from Our Changing Climate when we watched basically a much worse example of a video like this made by that fucking documentary production company that I was looking at that I'm going to be talking about in my new video. Right? Lots of chapters repeat the same points, so it's easy to get, but it is a bit heavy. Oh yeah. What, like most theory books then? Like, that was what I found when I read. I mean, you know, How to Blow Up a Pipeline isn't necessarily theory. It's just like, I mean, I guess it's theory. I don't know. But anyway, look, like, that was what I found with How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It was literally just like the same point over and over again. Yep, there needs to be a point where people get to where they start to sabotage the tools that people use to destroy the earth, right? And it's like, I got it by the first fucking paragraph, man. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep reading this book just in case, like, you know, there's more to it than that. But there wasn't. I mean, what he did, Malm, in that book was he did lots of different examples of sabotage throughout the years and how, you know, movements have always been, you know, sort of like a very like moderate wing asking for like a little bit of stuff, with a more like radical, violent wing that like wants more and is willing to do more to get it. But beyond that, it was just like the same thing again and again and again, and it just, you know, that kind of writing just winds me up. Which is why I haven't read a lot of theory. I've just been outside quite a lot and spoke to real people. But, you know, whatever works for you is what I would say to that. Anyway, what I was saying was, this is the same style of what that fucking production company was doing, but they were making like 176 fucking documentaries, quote unquote documentaries, like a year, maybe even more, and making them much worse than this. And this is just a YouTube channel. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, let's crack on.
Celsius of warming.
If you want more information about that, check out my fucking Patreon and subscribe for £10 or more, and you can see what I'm on about.
That same year,
you can see the script for my next video.
State actors mobilized massive plans to halt the spread of disease, which also happened to grind the economy to a halt. And yet global emissions only fell by 5.4%, only to then quickly rebound as production kicked into high gear a year later. The pandemic lays bare the destruction and incompetence of our global capitalist economy. It reveals that even extreme austerity and forced consumption cuts under capitalism will never be enough to stave off the worst of climate chaos.
Yep.
Capitalism cannot stop the climate crisis. It cannot dismantle the fossil fuel industry, nor can it halt the sixth mass extinction. It can't do these things because it is the core driver of all of these crises.
Right.
But as much as we can recognize the growing rift between human and nature born out of capitalism, critiquing the present is not enough. We must envision a beautiful and realistic future, one that excites us and helps fuel the fire of transition. As environmental historian and author of Half-Earth Socialism, Troy Vitesse argues,
that having this utopia, this end goal, is very useful because that actually glues together your coalition.
Holy shit, this is like why I keep saying to everybody, doomerism is cringe. Doomerism is cringe. Yeah? You gotta have that hopium, because if you don't have that hopium, you just drop off. You don't do anything. Nothing changes. Nothing gets done. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta have that hope. You gotta keep hope. Because if the very worst things happen that you think are going to happen, when it comes to the end, are you going to be sat there and be satisfied with the fact that you did nothing still? That's what you've got to ask yourself, right?
Actually buying together.
And if you want that energy to keep going, you got to have that utopian vision. No matter how like far-flung and bizarre you think it is. But no, yeah, absolutely. Doomerism is cringe. It's cringe.
Capitalism might just offer that powerful vision that glues us all together. It calls for a worker and peasant-led revolution that rips the ownership of production.
Is that the gist of post-capitalist desire? I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Unlike capitalism, which prioritizes...
All I know is that Mark Fisher wrote about capitalist realism, and I've not really read that because I know the gist of that. The gist of that is that most people find it easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism, and this was brought about by like the dissolving of the Soviet Union or whatever, and people need to stop doing that. It's only capitalism that has done that. It's another book by him. I've got it, but I haven't read it yet. Right, gotcha. Sad to see how much farmland has been dismantled into high-rises no one can afford, but I did see around the corner a unique system to change into how to farm, and it was a cool solution. We like to watch a lot of permaculture content on this channel, and in fact, we've not really done it much this year, so maybe we should do that next week. Check out, do some garden streams, do some soft soil boy streams. Yeah.
Decisions based on
I think that's a good shout.
Creation of products to sell for more profit. Eco-socialism advocates for an economy that makes decisions based on the well-being of all people and the planet. But what makes eco-socialism...
Okay, I'm just going to run to the toilet. I won't be too long.
Ideas of worker-led planning is well within the bounds of many socialist goals and visions. Admittedly, as Victor Wallace notes,
it's even redundant to put the eco prefix onto it because socialism implies that you make decisions on the basis of what's in the interests of people, and you can't legislate in the interest of people without taking into account the environment.
So while socialist goals often align with ecological concerns, eco-socialism specifically emphasizes a democratically planned economy based on social and ecological constraints. Planning is crucial not only for the ethical redistribution of wealth and knowledge sharing, but also for living harmoniously within our natural environments. History, though, teaches us that there are many pitfalls in the planning process, especially when it comes to environmental concerns. Just because you are striving for socialism, like in the case of the Soviet Union, doesn't necessarily mean that you will achieve ecological sustainability. And if you're interested in learning more about Soviet planning, I've uploaded a whole companion video to this one on Nebula, examining the environmental faults and successes of Soviet planning. These past and present examples of the various forms of socialism show us that ecology, whether species extinction or climate change or ocean acidification, all need to be foregrounded in the planning.
Right, let me just pause it because I was just going for a quick wee, but it turns out I got to feed the boy. So, chat, please think of the boy, keep him in your thoughts. He's very hungry. I'll be back in a tick. He's a baby boy. Small baby boy. Very hungry sweet potato. That's what he is. I should go get the treats to tempt him in here because we've definitely had enough donos for a bit of Tomcam. That's a fucking fact. Let me go get the dreamies for when he's done. He might even just come in anyway when he's done. Okay. Also, 1 sec. I'm gonna put some rice on. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, let's crack on with the video.
Process if we are to avoid ecological destruction. If left out of the picture, socialist planning could very well drive us down the path of heavy
Listen, stop with the rice shit,
so
honestly.
Ecological planning is essential because capitalism with its market-driven anarchy,
It's not gonna smell like cat shit. You know, earlier I was defrosting the curry that I made the other day that I froze for like meal prep, and I also had rice on at the same time, and I thought I could smell cat shit again. I got no idea. Maybe I'm just like getting accustomed to the smell of like cat food, because cat shit basically smells like cat food, doesn't it? Like, no one told me this. Like, cat farts smell like cat food, and cat shit smells like cat food. Like, that's what it smells like. I mean, cat shit can smell like really bad if they're eating dry food. Like, really bad. But anyway, I'm just gonna stop talking. Just gonna stop talking.
In any meaningful way.
Capitalism has already failed. As in, capitalism is not going to get us out of this mess.
Yes! So based! Oh my god! We need to get these fuckers on Red Planet. We need to get them on Red Planet.
Change and let alone other environmental crises for more than 3 decades, and things have gotten much worse.
So we know that capitalism has ripped the natural world apart and has failed to mend it back together. An eco-socialist planned economy, then, is a necessary intervention if we are to truly heal the rift between human economies and the natural world. But what exactly do those eco-socialist futures look like? Imagine a world where you don't feel forced to go to your job just to put food on the table, where climate collapse isn't driving every global disaster. A world where decisions about what products get made, what public goods are free and accessible, are carried out by everyday people, not by CEOs and board members. A world where community and chosen family are just a bike ride, a high-speed train, or a quick walk away.
Oh, it's making me fucking... it's making me really want this so bad.
Under capitalism, it's easy to feel like these visions are unrealistic or even utopian. We know that capitalism isn't working for us and for the planet, but it's hard to imagine an alternative. We're caught between understanding the destructive logic of capitalism and struggling to engage with viable alternatives. Perhaps that's part of capitalism's plan. As author and educator Ashley C. Ford writes, the goal of oppressors...
I didn't even need to tempt him. He just came right here. He just jumped right up.
More for yourself and the world you live in. This is why we need vibrant visions and debates, not just about the destruction of capitalism, not just about how we get to an ecological zero-carbon world, but also about what that world looks like when we get there.
Yeah.
Drew Pendergrass and Troy Vitesse's book, Half-Earth Socialism, is an excellent example of envisioning a socialist ecological future. Addressing the sixth mass extinction, the threat of global pandemics, and the climate crisis, Half-Earth Socialism calls for a socialist planned economy that hinges on the key parameters of land preservation, minimizing emissions, and a good life for all, rather than what
A world where we get to decide what products get made. You wouldn't believe how many lemon squeezes I see in my store in the winter. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, we can hold off on that, yeah? We can literally hold off on that because it's cold now, yeah? There he is. I love you, baby boy. Baby boy. Baby boy. I love him. What if I was your dad and I loved you? What then? I love him.
It's normally plan around: monetary costs and profits. More concretely, Vitesse and Pendergrass call for a half-earth socialism that uses linear programming methods to set broad-scale goals like veganism, energy quotas, and forest rewilding and stewardship under indigenous control. Pendergrass notes,
we can imagine feasible ways to use simple algorithms to plan plausible ways of organizing society, and then debate about what those plans look like on various levels. So we kind of imagine a little federalism where we set broad, coarse goals at a large level, and then figure out in detail what that looks like as you go towards the more local level.
We gotta reach out to these guys.
Socialist planning is crucial because it lets us understand exactly what we need to do at all levels. As Vitesse argues,
okay, so one's vegan or someone has a Tesla, someone doesn't fly, they're great, but what is actually necessary? And I think when you're in a market, this is super opaque. One really
Yes, he's talking about broad decisions about extraction and production and labor exploitation versus individualist choices in the imperial core. Like, just so based.
He goes on,
and this is what the game is like. This is what the game is like. You don't have to have like forced veganism to change the world, right? You don't need to do that. You don't need to have all electric cars to stop climate change and shit like that. It's actually like fucking great. And I've thought these things for ages. It's like, you make everyone drive an electric car, you're not going to stop climate change. You make everybody vegan, you're not going to stop climate change. It's like, some people have like very like basic ideas of what is causing climate change, and they don't necessarily think like, oh, actually we need an entire overhaul of the fossil fuel system. We need an entire overhaul of like wealth extraction. We need an entire overhaul of chemical disposal. Like what do we do? What do we do with all the chemicals that come from like it's like a chemical waste that comes from like a byproduct of creating things that we actually need. What do we do with that? Where does that go? How does it affect the environment around it and stuff like that,
That with a planning model,
then you begin to think, okay, like how much energy can we use as a society, or where are we getting our energy?
You're a small baby boy, aren't you?
With animal agriculture, land could be rewilded. You begin to see these things in their totality, which is difficult to do or impossible to do under capitalism.
The reality is that any ecological socialist society will have trade-offs. To dramatically downscale the economy, to preserve half of the world's ecosystems in a decolonial way, while also redistributing wealth and energy to everyone in the world, countries, and especially the rich in the imperial core, will certainly have to cut down on production.
Imperial core mentioned!
In the last chapter of their book, Vitesse and Pendergrass reveal what this might look like through the idea of the Gosplan, an algorithmic planning tool that reveals the trade-offs that must be made in order to reach an ecological sound society. Drawing on the work of prior planning theorists and the power and capacity of new planning and modeling systems like climate models, the authors envision a central planning tool called Gosplan. Using linear programming algorithms, which are already used throughout a lot of the business world, Gosplan would spit out broad plans depending on which parameters are emphasized. For example, if we very simplistically input that we want to cut emissions by 7.6% every year, rewild 25% more land, while maintaining a global good life, all by 2030, the GOS plant might spit out a variety of plans ranging from more lenient energy quotas, but faster uptake of vegetarian or vegan production and consumption. Or perhaps it might spit out a plan with more aggressive rewilding and afforestation instead, or a more rapid increase in renewable production. Essentially,
I fucking love it when he does that little face of like he's like meditating. He like just sits there with his arms folded, like it's just so good. Having a cat is great. Hey Aslan, how you doing? Go show some love to Aslan, everybody.
It would mean thousands of planners and scientists would plug a massive amount of data into Gosplant and model course blueprints 5, 10, or even 25 years into the future, projecting what it would look like to cut emissions, rewild half the planet, and redistribute wealth at different speeds. And crucially, those broad plans would be disseminated.
Feeling at peace watching this sweet baby boy.
As they pass
it's me every day.
Global, national, and local levels. In the last chapter of the book, we get a brief glimpse of that future as fictional local Massachusetts planner Edith explains.
The folks down in Havana have made a few different plans for the next year, assuming different energy quotas, ensuring in each plan that nature is always respected and no one is left behind. Plan 5F is the most austere, keeping consumption at about 750 watts per person, which includes...
Best thing about owning a cat is when you get up to get a glass of water, come back, find out he's still in your chair. He's never sat on this chair before, but he does do it on the couch. And since I started meditating, he has started like, you know, doing thingy. He has started sitting in my bed where I sleep and meditate. This reminds me of Salvatore Allende, president of Chile, who actually had a system like that. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, he was a socialist. Yeah, socialism has had like systems, you know, to actually make things that the people need. Had a computer system to plan crops and vegetation and farming. Oh, that specifically, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, it's like, you know, most socialist states have one thing at their, you know, at the forefront of what they choose to do and what they want to do, and that is actual, like, making of things that is sustainable and good, you know, so that people can have as much as they need to survive. You know, that's kind of like what the basis of socialism is.
She continued. Plan 5F means we can let a lot
That's
of
why they had to kill him.
Wilderness rather than planting more of those terrible biofuel plantations.
Same as Lumumba. I don't know if anyone knows about this guy, but like it was the anniversary of his death a couple of days ago. But I can't remember his first name. What was his name? Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba. He was the first ever democratically elected Congolese politician, an independence leader. I believe this was like after the Belgians left. It might be before. He was very similar to other people in Africa, you know, of a similar sort of like politics, Pan-Africanism, socialism, you know, African nationalist, and a Belgian paramilitary death squad basically like killed him and chainsawed up his fucking body and dissolved it in acid. So, you know, remember Patrice Lumumba. It's an actual tragedy. But yeah, rest in power, you know?
Throughout the chapter, the characters debate the various plans constantly. Because for eco-socialist planning to succeed, it must be in constant
fucked up.
It must
Fucked
be
up.
intensely transparent, understandable, accessible, and
The history of the Congo is completely
Plans
fucked.
must come from
With colonialism-wise.
formulated and
Colonialism-wise.
modeling tools like the fictional gospel
Yeah.
plan, and then sent back to the masses in an endless cycle of construction and exploration. But Pendergrass and Vitesse are just two thinkers in a vast world of eco-socialist ideas. There are other visions, like those of Max Isle, wherein green belts surround all cities as popular planning converts sprawling suburbs into farm swards.
Here's the thing, yeah? It's really interesting to me, like, sort of thinking of... There was one policy that was really, really interesting to me that I'd never really heard of before, but it made absolute sense when I saw it on Half-Earth Socialism. And it's called Reconcile Town and Country, right? Does anyone in either chat know what that could mean? If you already know and you played the game, don't answer, because that's cheating. But reconciling town and country is like really fucking important. It's like a really important thing that you just wouldn't think of. And it's like something that comes from like the start of capitalism and overproduction and industrialization and all that kind of stuff. Basically, if you don't know what it is, it's when the Industrial Revolution happened and overproduction became the mode of capitalism. Basically, it's what inspired capitalism to like take off. Essentially, there was a massive migration of what were essentially peasant farmers, toolsmiths. People were really spread out all over the land in the UK anyway, right? And I imagine it probably was the same in most countries all over the world. And what happened is they had these industrial centers that were like around markets. There were already towns. They were like market towns historically where like, people would travel to sell all their goods, etc., in order to partake in capitalism, in order to, sell stuff, pay taxes, and what would happen is during the Industrial Revolution, they would like build all these tiny homes, which are like now in the UK terraced houses for workers to come and live in and be concentrated. And then that's where the idea of like the high-rise apartment block came from. Basically people were like brought out of the country to settle in cities, yeah? And cities are like, a nice idea and very cool, but like, could you imagine if we had like an easily accessible and walkable, with lots of public transport links, an absurd amount of public transport links, and just like very, very easy access, lots of green spaces, like a very even mix of like country and town. So like just spread everything back out again. And I think that that's so fucking interesting because it's like that's sort of like really going back to how things were in like a big way, in a huge way. Not everyone lives in like cities and towns, but it's very easy to get to like other places. Yeah.
High-speed trains link big.
Is that thing that people say? Yeah, build up instead of build out. Like it's that thing that people say where it's like we were literally only supposed to live in communities of 100 or so people, and they expect us to like have a Facebook, TikTok account and sit there and work for a living and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. It's like no, I can see it.
Cities to smaller ones to capillary lines leading to outlying hamlets.
Yeah.
Kyle's world prioritizes anti-imperialism and state sovereignty in the periphery. Ultimately, as Max Isle writes, eco-socialism aspires to egalitarian redistribution, public ownership of the means of production, respectful, modest, and humane management of the human interaction with non-human nature, and decommodification of social life globally, not merely locally.
Fucking let's go. Let's go.
Not merely locally, but globally. And it is explicitly anti-imperialist and pro-third world state sovereignty.
Yeah, let's go.
Problem at the root, first of all, and that also does not restrict itself to looking at a reconstruction of the United States and Europe, but also looks towards the global south, towards Latin America, towards Africa, towards Asia.
Isle's vision seeks to mend the metabolic rift of capitalism by shrinking the distance between urban production and rural land, ending a system of extraction and embracing one of replenishment. Ideas that even Karl Marx was writing about a century and a half before. Marx writes that it's not—
That's because Karl Marx was there when the migration, the forced migration from country to town was taking place.
Not enough to just liberate the worker. For a truly just and liberated society, we must also heal our broken relationship with the land, arguing that communal land ownership, communism, is the only way to heal the metabolic rift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eco-socialist scholars John Bellamy Foster and Brett Clark write, for Marx, the only
This is another reason why I'm a housing activist, because housing is basically land, right?
lasting path to sustainability is the conscious and rational treatment of the land as permanent communal property, or in other words, the abolition of private landed property. Ecological sustainability is only a possibility in a future society
And what conservatives got from that was, socialists want to steal my toothbrush,
of associated producers, a socialist society, which could bring about a new and higher synthesis, a union of agriculture and industry. Meanwhile, authors at the Red Nation argue for an indigenous-led global ecosystem.
Hey, Fo Machina.
Restoring land to indigenous caretakers is
it's fucking Nick Estes. We had him on Red Planet.
Any kind of future on this planet. That future must be, in my opinion, socialist.
One that foregrounds stewardship, an end to colonial occupation everywhere, and an emphasis on mass action and non-reformist reforms from below right now.
But we're very serious about, a revolutionary struggle and what it means to build a political program for that type of revolution. And as Indigenous people,
that's right, Val,
that our environmental justice struggles and our struggles for climate justice must also be responsive to the demands for abolition and
Generation Y Me, thank you so much for gifting us a sub to B-Rap.
Investing from those institutions, we must reinvest in the common dignity of all, which means healing our bodies and healing our earth.
Don't tell me to floss nanny state, your fluoride's hurting my freeze peach.
While also building power to topple settler colonial capitalism in the future. This looks like immediate defunding of police, immigration, and military forces, free sustainable housing, education, healthcare, and mental health services, enforcement of treaty rights, reinvesting in care work alongside land, air, and water restoration. The Red Deal is a crucial intervention into eco-socialist visions. It shows that while it's important to have future visions to hold on to, the climate crisis, capitalism, and colonialism are destroying life and land right now, especially within oppressed communities. So we need serious harm prevention immediately. In the words of the Red Nation, we cannot simply build isolated utopias while the rest of the world burns.
Yeah, absolutely. That is like the fundamental problem, yeah? The fundamental problem of like commune shit, yeah? Like, I got no problem with communes, but the way that neoliberal, sort of like liberal to conservative individualists think of like, I just want to buy some land and like go out and live with my friends. It's like, yes, of course you want to do that because that's what everybody wants to do. We're literally like a farming culture. That's what we do. We're like an we are literally the product of discovering agriculture. Yeah. So that's why everybody wants to go back to nature and just grow stuff. That's why. So, but the thing is that you don't just like get that. You can't just like do that and then like forget about everybody else, which is what everybody wants to do. That's what everybody who says that stuff wants to do. They just want to forget about everybody else. They don't want to think about cities, how cities can resist and how cities can change and shit like that. They just like, let them deal with it and we'll go and work on the commune. Andrewism was speaking about that in that one video that he had.
slow process of reformist reform to kick in.
Yeah, reinvest in care work. Yeah, for sure.
Trauma, nor can we consume better to save the environment. We cannot vote harder and place all of our hope in a few individuals in Congress.
Yeah.
Climate change will kill us before any of these strategies.
They pretend there's no such thing as personal property. Yeah, it's funny.
Despite their differences, communal stewardship, rational and ecological production, and anti-imperialism are all through lines throughout these eco-socialist manifestos. However, these visions of eco-socialism are just that. Visions and blueprints, imagined realities to hold on to as we chart the path towards ecological and political transition. But
I love this like generic protest scene. Literally like generic protest scene. It's all these like boards saying like clean energy now. Revolution, Black Lives Matter, like just like, yeah, statements. Yeah, the battle of the individualistic mindset versus the collective community. Well, the problem is that what people desire, people are told what they desire, aren't they? Right? In our you know, in our world, we're told that what you need to desire is your own personal freedom. Like, everybody's always talking about your own personal freedom. No one's ever talking about collective ownership, stewardship, everything that's being discussed here. No one's ever talking about that stuff. But that stuff is what brings, like, actual personal freedom. Because your personal freedom is connected to the next person's personal freedom. Yeah? If everybody has personal freedom, guess what that is? Like, that's collective freedom. And if everybody desires personal freedom, then that is collective freedom, which is what you actually want. Yeah? You know? I don't think people, like, desire to be greedy. I don't think people desire to, like, have so much that you can't possibly have anymore. Or, like, spend it all in your lifetime kind of thing. You know what I mean? Well, this is it. This is the issue with neoliberalism. The neoliberal mantra is there is no society, there's only individuals. But there is ultimately society. To claim that there are only individuals is just, it's false consciousness. It's completely false consciousness. You know? Yeah, unionize your freedoms. Yeah.
Hold on to as we chart the path towards ecological and political transition. But there are real-world instances, however flawed, of eco-socialism in action. And the shining star among them lies in the heart of the Caribbean, battered on all sides by imperial pressure. Nestled within Havana's concrete sky,
government of your province has invested in private care to cut down on waiting times. Oh, yeah. And it never works. Because private care facilities are profit, they have a profit motive. Right? They have a profit motive. So, you know, why doesn't the government just invest in more public facilities to cut down on wait times? It makes no sense. It's that again is false consciousness, or an outright lie in order to convince people to, you know, agree to their consent being manufactured.
Niponico La Sazon, cooperative workers tend to the many rows of raised beds that feed their neighbors and surrounding city. La Sazon, a full-scale organic farm with minimal chemical...
Look at this, chat. I think about this all the time. If we had communal farms like this that fed everybody, yeah? Not only would that be massively good for everyone at the moment who is suffering from food precarity, yeah? But it would also bring people together. Yeah, it's my day on the lot. How you doing, Carl? Good to see you. Yeah, it's all good, Jane. What's good? Do you know what I mean? Bring people together, restore that community, and key point here, restore trust in each other. Because if you trust your neighbors enough to grow the food that you eat so that it doesn't kill you, that is a bond that you can't break very easily. Not very easily at all.
and surrounding city. La Sazon, a full-scale organic farm with minimal chemical and fossil fuel inputs, is not an outlier in Havana. It's the norm. But Cuban agriculture wasn't always like this. Cuba's unique history forged this organic system through hardship and struggle. For most of the first half of the 20th century, Cuban agriculture was heavily industrialized.
Yeah, that's right.
Crops of sugarcane,
colonialism in it.
As Cuba was forced to produce sugar for its imperial colonizer, the United States. But after thrusting off the weight of imperialist forces in 1959 with a triumphant socialist revolution,
there he is, the boy Castro.
However, much of Cuban agriculture was still tooled towards high fossil fuel import and high monoculture output. Up until the collapse of the Soviet Union, Cuba still mainly grew sugar and traded exclusively with the Soviets for staples such as rice, wheat, tractors, and gas.
Yeah.
But this system was dramatically upended in 1991. When the Soviet Union unraveled and the imperial core maintained its trade embargo on Cuba, the country was left isolated from oil, staple foods, and
Love to be able to grow food to give my neighbors and community count in my apartment. I used to think the same about my apartment. But in here, I've grown peppers, I've grown chili peppers, I've grown a tomato. The only reason that I didn't grow more is because I didn't have the knowledge that I know now, which is that you shouldn't fucking overwater your plants so that you get gnats, an infestation of gnats. So, you know, it is possible to grow food that maybe you can give over to your neighbors in your apartment. Depends how many windows you got, basically. Depends how many windows you got. Depends how many, you know, how much space in the windows you've got. But if you got a window, you could grow some food. I know that from experience. I don't even have a view in my apartment. You know what the view is across the road, like literally out of my window? It's another apartment. It's literally just another apartment. It's fucking shit. You know? My succulent is suffering from bloating and gnats. I was fooled. Yeah, it's tough. Like, it's so funny because you want to water a succulent because it's so cute, but then as soon as you water it, it just goes, oh, I need to expand. And it like starts to get all leggy and shit. It's like, time to grow. It's like, no. You gotta fucking dehydrate that fucker. You know? Yeah, do you have south or west facing windows? They're the best, yeah.
Journalist and author.
Yeah, you see, I have neither of those. I have neither south nor west. In fact, my windows face literally northeast. Literally northeast. If I think about it, it is literally northeast. So even if you don't have south or west facing windows, you'll be able to grow something. It might not be great, but you'll be able to grow it. That's for sure.
Kibben writes that in 1989, the average Cuban was eating about 3,000 calories per day. By 1992, that plummeted to 1,900 calories per day.
Damn.
In short, Cuba was starving because their semi-industrialized agricultural system was ripped out from under them, and imperialist sanctions left them no other option but to look inward for a solution.
It sucks.
And the forces and organization of socialist production bore them out of the crisis. Now, on the other end of such a brutal crisis born out of imperialist aggression, Cuba has transformed. In Havana alone, its residents converted 35,000 hectares, or 135 square miles of land.
How do I figure out what 135 square miles is? The city of Philadelphia is 135 square miles. What? What? They turned an area the size of Philadelphia into food production. Are you joking me? In Havana alone?
Into agriculturally productive space, which is about the same as converting the area of 6 Manhattans.
6 Manhattans!
Into farming space. But Havana is just a small part of Cuba's socialist agricultural revolution.
Yo, no way.
All trading partners, Cubans either had to adapt or starve. Through plans like Campesino a Campesino, or farmer-to-farmer knowledge sharing, as well as urban farming initiatives, Cuba pulled itself out of the depths of
this fucking rocks, man. This fucking rocks.
Built a socialist agriculture that dramatically decreased emissions output while prioritizing
we could all learn so much from Cuba, you know?
Cultures growing commodities.
And they do similar stuff in Vietnam, innit? They literally do similar stuff in Vietnam.
Farms growing food. In the 1980s, Cuba had more tractors per hectare than California, but by the 2000s, tractors were quickly replaced by over 400,000 oxen teams. Monocultures were replanted with polycultures, crop diversity was valued for its ability to decrease pest pressure and encourage healthy soil.
They just got loads of raised beds. This is so good.
Fossil fuel reliant techniques.
Oh my god.
Sustainable and permaculture oriented systems. Organoponicos, or the Cuban term for urban garden, proliferated widely, using raised beds to grow healthy plants on poisoned urban soil. Crucial to
this is so good. I love this shit. I fucking love Cuba so much, chat.
This regenerative farming explosion was the Campesino a Campesino, or farmer-to-farmer movement. The goal of this movement was for small farmers to share knowledge with each other and integrate new sustainable systems of agriculture through social participation, mobilizing local resources, and reverting to traditional peasant know-how. This grassroots knowledge building meant that, as Aidan Ratchford writes, many small farmers were producing 80 to 100% of food necessary for family consumption by 2011.
Mental. For 10 years they've been doing this. So, you know, let's think about what Cuba's got right now. They got one of the most progressive bills, family bills, for queer people. Yeah, in the entire of the entire world, as far as we know. And they also have the best doctors, the best healthcare. They got the best age in terms of like how old people get. They got the best life expectancy. They got the best care for elderly people, right? And they got like eco-socialism already happening. But nobody's getting rich off it, so it's bad. Right. And everybody who like says in Cuba, yeah, oh, life is so shit here, no one's got any money, they are missing the bigger picture. Yeah, they're missing the bigger picture. There are so many like horror stories of Cubans who like are promised that America is the land of milk and honey, and they go there, they go to fucking Florida, they get welcomed by all the fucking conservative twats who are there like, oh yeah, well done for coming over. You know, yeah, it's time to throw off the shackles of socialism. Welcome to capitalism. Within a month, they're homeless. Within a fucking month. You know? And they can't go back to Cuba. Because that's how the fucking USA migration shit works.
Jaguar Grande,
you know,
for example, produces 80% of food needs for the 60,000 residents of its municipality. By purposefully placing the needs of the people, like good healthy soil, accessible food, and control over what to grow, instead of...
Yeah, they're doing all this with a massive blockade, with an international blockade, right? A lot of them actually do go back. Oh, is that right? I did hear it was like hard to actually like get back and like live in Cuba again if you came to capitalism. Well, hang on a second though. Like if people end up destitute, they're gonna struggle to get back. Yeah, innit? I'm talking generally about people who've like come to the USA under like the lie of like, you know, yeah, you can make loads of money here and it's really good and it's easy. You know what I mean? Just be Sigma grindset, bro. It's dead easy. And then like they just end up really poor and they have a shit life and they're like, I want to go back and live in Cuba, but they can't afford it now. That's kind of what I'm sort of like thinking.
Growing for commodity sale, like selling sugarcane to multinational corporations, Cuba has successfully built an eco-socialist agriculture. Ratchford goes
Hey,
on to
Stuntman
write,
Steve.
a country previously reliant on imports for 90% of its food was able to feed itself through urban, organic agriculture. This
Yeah, that's mad.
represents
That's
the
madness.
largest conversion from conventional to alternative organic agriculture in the world's history. Cuba reveals the possibilities of an eco-socialist degrowth future right now, especially when it comes to agriculture.
The Cuban government softened its stance on repatriation based,
And land through
extremely based.
agroecological and urban farming cooperatives, but it's done so while increasing literacy, food access, and minimizing fossil fuel use.
Yeah, that's
While by no
mad. That's
means the
mad.
end goal, Cuba's form of socialist organization.
I thought you can't get flights to Cuba from the US. That's what I thought as well, but I guess we're wrong.
And field between humans and the natural world. But Cuba is constantly battered on all sides by the forces of capitalism.
International embargo, you know, international.
All directions and across the globe. And to achieve that, we need a plan. Whether it was the US in 1776, Haiti in 1790.
And look, here's the thing. This is why we have to look to the imperial periphery. Because Cuba is the imperial periphery, yeah? Countries in Africa that are having like literal anti-colonial revolutions right now are in the imperial periphery. Sri Lanka, which had a fucking revolution, is in the imperial periphery. Like, all these places are going to be looking at other countries in the imperial periphery and what they've done and how they have resisted imperialism, resisted colonialism. And they're going to look at Cuba. They're going to look at Vietnam, you know? They're going to look at these extremely successful socialist states that have, resisted, imperialism and colonialism. Stuntman Steve in the YouTube chat says, "You like a botched circumcision." I don't like certainly botched circumcisions. I think that's very bad and sad for people. Actually, I think it'd be very damaging to their life. And that's that.
One, Russia in 1917 or Cuba in 1959, revolutions have always been the engines of change. The destruction of capitalism will continue ever onward until we actively disrupt it. Unfortunately, there is no silver bullet solution to achieving an eco-socialist economy. It will only come about from the long collective struggle of the working class and peasants taking control of production. This may happen peacefully or involve violence, especially if the capitalist elite are heavily entrenched.
South Africa is an example as well, that's true.
Like those in the United States. But most likely this revolution will begin in the periphery, in countries like India and the Philippines, where there are already thriving communist revolutions attempting to build power. For most of the rest of the world, unfortunately, the conditions of capitalist state backlash against the left make global...
Yeah, I don't think you're like old enough to be
if we want to address
on the internet at this hour.
We need rapid ecological action within the next 10 years. And unfortunately, a global eco-socialist revolution doesn't seem...
Probably go and do your homework, buddy.
So we cannot rely solely on the prospect of global eco-socialism to address climate action. Instead, we will need to work within our current system right now, while simultaneously striving for a more rationally planned ecological economy. As Brazilian eco-socialist activist Sabrina Fernandes writes, to escape the looming ecological disaster before we have the chance to establish a socialist society, we will have to implement ideas, policies, microsystems, reforms, and other socio-political arrangements that will slow the pace of the crisis while establishing the foundations for popular power that can overcome it and support a new system. These interventions can range from building union power and pushing for more worker agency in the workplace, or seeking support for more urban and agroecological farming methods. It can involve organizing communities to advocate for safe, accessible, and electrified public transit, as well as developing extensive bike infrastructure. It can mean blocking or sabotaging pipelines across indigenous land, or it can mean defunding the military and police. Pendergrass points towards the recent United Auto Workers strike as another example of immediate social and environmental harm reduction.
One of the things they're demanding is a 4-day work week because they recognize that the transition to electric vehicles requires less labor.
But in the process of fighting for those stopgap interventions,
True.
It is crucial not to lose sight of the larger goal.
Tom is extremely cute, isn't he?
Strategies and will forever...
At the end of this video, you can get a closer look at him because we'll go to the different
if we
scene
don't continue to escalate towards
where the Tom cam is bigger.
Planning. The goal is to build an ecological transition that will make the socialist transition possible. Only through the complete dismantling of capitalist forces, a feat historically achieved in the revolution, will we finally be able to embark on the journey of constructing and planning an ecological and ethical world for all. Luckily, we won't be starting from scratch on that journey. Socialism, and more specifically socialist planning, has been tried and tested in China, Cuba, and especially the Soviet Union. It's crucial to learn from the successes and, importantly, the failures of those planning methods, which is why I've made a whole nother video about the ecological implications of Soviet planning. The Bolsheviks...
Yeah, Soviet planning was like, particularly under like Stalin, was like completely insane. There was this, even Kira didn't know about Stakhanovites, right? Stakhanovite shock workers that were like, right, go in and build this thing, and like, you know, you're not gonna get any breaks, and you'll just do it in like 3 days. And it's like, how is that not exploitation, bro? Like, what is going on? How is this socialism? And yeah, Kira didn't know about it when we were, well, unknown person didn't know about it when we were playing shh, don't tell John Twitch. Unknown person didn't know about it when we were playing Half-Earth Socialism on Red Planet. And yeah, Stalin was just like straight up, yo, get some fucking guys, go down there, build this thing, it's really important, get it done so we can have socialism faster, and then you can like relax, comrades. And it's just like a load of bullshit. It was really bad. Yeah.
Successfully protected over 4 million hectares of land by 1929, which is available right now exclusively on the creator-owned streaming service Nebula. There, you can also watch the full hour and 20-minute long interview with the authors of Half-Earth Socialism, alongside over...
Maybe that video is not talking about exactly that, though.
And when you're done watching those videos, you can check out a whole host of exclusive content from creators you love, like the new Nebula Plus video from Climate Town, giving you a behind-the-scenes sneak peek of how their videos get made.
We've got all the shit shot, it's all in the computer, I got all my media in there.
Or Wendover Productions' recent Nebula original.
Oh my god, that's such a weird way to use a second monitor. That's so odd to me. Why would you just have your second monitor be like that when you can have your second monitor the other way round and you can use it to like look at the video you're making? I don't do it like that at all. Partner does that for programming. Programming's different. I think for video editing is what I'm talking about. Tried to do that once, couldn't get used to it. There's no way. There's no way I could fucking do that.
The computer, I got all my media in there.
Or Wendover.
Anyways, this just like a promo bit. That was a great video. That was a great video. Go over and give that video a like and a comment and a subscribe, everyone. Very cool. Very based. Yeah. Chat, that's it. That's it, chat. Look at him. There he is. That's what you get for staying to the end. That's what you get for staying to the end. Look at this reward. No, but seriously, folks, thanks so much for all the support tonight. Really appreciate it. It's been a fun final stream of the week. It's been really fun. Yeah, he's got his beans out. He's got his beans out for the lads, lasses, and lads with an X. And lasses with an X. The 4 genders. Fashionably late. Sorry about that, Carpe Packs. But everybody go follow Carpe Packs. They're amazing. There you go. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. It's been really good. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the donos. Especially thank you for the donos. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you. I've had a couple of follows, I think. Yeah. Thanks for the follows. No, I haven't. I've not had any follows today. Literally 0 follows today. Interesting. No follows today, and I was streaming in the Just Chatting category on Twitch. So that's interesting. I wonder why that is the way that is. We're going to go raid someone on Twitch. Don't know how to do it on YouTube, so we're not going to do that, but I'm going to drop the link to you in the chat for Twitch if the YouTubers want to come over to Twitch, if they want to feel like they want to come over to Twitch. But I need to select someone to raid first, and I think the person that I'm going to raid it's David Toverish. I'm going to go ahead and raid David. He's a top lad. If you like my politics, you'll love his politics. I think that's how you spell his name. I'm always concerned, but I always get it right. I have got it right yet again. So there is the link in the YouTube chat for people who want to come along with us. Go category hopping? Nah, it's all good. I don't need to do that. I'm fine with that. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting me. I'll be back on Monday. Don't forget, we got Red Planet on Sunday. I believe we're having a guest from Palestine Action on. So please make sure you check out Red Planet. Come with us for the raid on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, here is the raid command. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all the support this week. Thank you for being in the chat, chatting away. And thanks for lurking, if you're a lurker. Really, really appreciate that. Don't forget to check out my socials. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon. I've got a VOD channel, all that kind of stuff. Go over there and check out more content. Other than that, have a great weekend from me and Tom. Mwah. Stay excellent to each other. Peace, 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 peace.